Yes, sir. So we are starting, sir. Happy evening to all of you. Before we start with the program, let us start with the prayer song followed by our Institute motto song.
வாழ்வினில் செம்மையை செய்பவள் நீயே, மாண்புகள் நீயே, என் தமிழ் தாயே, வீழ்வாரை வீழாது காப்பவள் நீயே, வீரனின் வீரமும் வெற்றியும் நீயே, தாண்டிடு நிலையில் உனை விடுப்பேனோ, தமிழ் என் நாளும் தலை குனிவேனோ, சூழ்ந்தின்பம் நல்கிடும் பைந்தமிழன்னாய் தோன்றுதல் நீ உயிர் நான் மறப்பேனோ, செந்தமிழே உயிரே நருந்தேனே, செயலினை மூச்சினை உனக்களித்தேனே, நைந்தாயனில் நைந்து போகுமென் வாழ்வு, நன்னிலை உனக்கெனில் எனக்கும் தானே, முந்திய நாடினில் அறிவுமில்லாது மொய்த்தனன் மனிதராம் பொதுப்புனல் மீது செந்தாமரை காடு உற்றது போல செழித்த என் தமிழே ஒளியே வாழி, செழித்த என் தமிழே ஒளியே வாழி, செழித்த என் தமிழே ஒளியே வாழி.
यशस्सुप्तेषु जाग्रति, यशस्सुप्तेषु जाग्रति, कामं कामपुरुषो निर्विमाणः, तदेव शुक्रं तदब्रह्मा, तदेवामृतमुच्यते, तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वतनूनात्यकश्चनात्यमीकश्च
Thank you. Very happy good evening to all of you. Respected speakers of the day, CA Saravana Kumar and CA Balasubramanian sir, respected CA B Rajshekharan, Chairman of Vellore branch of SIRC of ICAI, CA Manju Bashini, Secretary of Pondicherry branch of SIRC of ICAI, CA P Tanigevelan, Secretary of Vellore branch of SIRC of ICAI, respected members of Pondicherry branch and Vellore branch and other members of ICAI, dear office bearers of Pondicherry and Vellore branches of ICAI and other distinguished participants. Happy evening to all. We are delighted to receive you all for this seminar on critical GST aspects to be covered in tax audit and issues in GST 9 and 9C. Half the issues in GST audit and assessment will be resolved with proper preparation and presentation of financial statements of the SSC. With critical aspects relating to GST are properly addressed in the financial statements, preparation of Form 9 and 9C also becomes easier. As tax audits are in progress and additional time available due to extension, this seminar will throw more lights on aspects that are to be covered with regard to GST during the execution of tax audit. With 3 years passed by and 4th year in progress in respect of filing of GST 9 and 9C, still members are facing numerous issues and not finding means for rectification of the errors. With form getting changed and the errors in data population, namely GST 9 auto population, 3B summary data, 2A portal data, and those data getting changed from time to time. Chartered accountants are at dark on how to finalize the annual return and audit report. With restrictions in availing ITC under Rule 36(4), reporting the same in GSTR 9C will be a challenge before all the stakeholders. Though CAs are absolved from attestation of Form 9C, safeguarding the interest of the clients is shouldered on them and have to exercise utmost caution in filing the said forms. As GST 9 and GST 9C filing due dates are fast approaching, this seminar will be of immensely handy in handling the said functions. The speakers, CA Saravana Kumar and CA Balasubramanian duo, are experts in this field and have deliberated on GST from its initial stages, that is, from the draft bill stage, post introduction of GST bill, and after enactment of GST Act. They are specializing in GST and are rendering consultancy services and handling GST matters for all big corporates. The speakers make their presentation as a duo and used to be an interesting session. Due to travel concern during this corona pandemic, this program could not be organized in virtual mode and hence they had to present the two different topics individually. We miss them, but however, they will make this session more interesting. We are also immensely pleased to extend our heartiest welcome on behalf of Pondicherry and Vellore branches of SIRC of ICAI to the speakers CA Saravana Kumar and CA Balasubramanian of Madurai. We are thankful to them for having readily accepting our request at short notice. Welcome you, sirs. We also extend our warm welcome to all the distinguished members of the Pondicherry and Vellore branch and members of other branches and also the other participants for this seminar. With heat gaining up for tax audit report filing season, members will be busy with the professional duties because of their hectic schedule and responsibilities. In spite of the same, members have taken their valuable time to participate and attend this seminar. We are greatly privileged and feel acknowledged for the same. We wish safe and good health to all the members. Once again, I welcome you all for the program and requesting Secretary CA Manjubhashini Madam to introduce the speaker to the participants. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the speaker of today's program, CAG Saravana Kumar. CAG Saravana Kumar is a partner in BSL and Associates. He is a GST faculty approved by the ICAI through Faculty Identification Program. He has co-authored 2 books, namely Practical FAQs in GST and Practical FAQ in ITC, published by Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI, New Delhi. He has co-authored study material on service tax and VAT, published by Karaikudi Azhagappa University. He has reviewed a book on invoicing procedures in GST, published by Indirect Taxes Committee of ICAI. He regularly contributes articles on updates in GST in the newsletter published by SIRC and articles in the magazine titled Vanigal Thal, published by Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He imparts training to the central and state GST officers in the training programs conducted by central and state GST departments.
No.
He has addressed more than 20,000 professionals and entrepreneurs in the last 3 years on various topics in GST. Key forums addressed include CII, national conferences conducted by ICAI, seminars conducted by ICAI, Institute of Company Secretaries, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, TAPMA, Plasma, etc. He has been empaneled as GST consultant in Tamil Nadu Spinning Mills Association, Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Madurai District Tiny and Small Scale Industries Association. He has represented his clients before CESTAT, Settlement Commission, and appellate authorities. With these words of introduction, I welcome CAG Saravana Kumar to this program. Welcome, sir, and over to you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A very good evening to one and all present over here. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Pondicherry branch of SIRC of ICAI and Vellore branch of SIRC of ICAI. A special thanks to Prabhakaran sir, who has been following up for this seminar for the past 1 week. So thank you one and all for this great opportunity. So agenda for today's program would be in the first 1.5 hours of the session, we will be concentrating on those aspects while finalizing the tax audit and even statutory audit and Companies Act. What are all the aspects with special reference to GST need to be seen? Because if that has gone unnoticed, the severe consequence which the client may have to face at the time of GST investigation and GST audit conducted by both central and state departments. So component wise, what are the points that need to be seen? And also those aspects in the past 2 years, because both department have started sending notices and started investigations, audits in the past 2 years. What are all these specific points they concentrate? They consider that as a revenue leakage, which we have seen for our clients during this litigation practice. So those points also I have incorporated in this presentation. So we'll get started off with the presentation. Let me share my screen, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, could you please allow me to share the screen, sir?
Yes, sir. You are already.
No, it is not allowing. Probably I have come through that ID. It is not allowing me, I think.
1 second, sir. 1 second.
Prabhakar Munji.
Languages.
Yes, sir. It has come.
Yes,
I think the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, since this is a very practical oriented session, I request members to interact, and whenever if any question is raised, I humbly request the members to post their answers in the chat box. So if no answers are coming, no problem. I would share my view on that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So this is the overall. Figures taken from profit and loss statement of a company. So the following information were extracted from profit and loss statement of a company. So raw material consumption is 50 lakhs, labor 20 lakhs, manufacturing and administration cost 30 lakhs, marketing and other overheads 20 lakhs, total cost comes to 120 lakhs, profit 30 lakhs, selling price excluding GST 150 lakhs. What inference can be made from the above information? So generally, department, when it sees, scrutinizes the profit and loss statement, they may summarize these information and they'll come to a conclusion. So I request members, can any one of them answer what inference that it comes to their mind. When we see these figures, consumption cost is 50 lakhs, labor is 20 lakhs, manufacturing cost is 30, marketing cost 20 lakhs, total cost 120 lakhs, and profit is 30 lakhs, sales is 150 lakhs. Yes, sir. So when we see this, one point we need to be clear. In point number 1, do we have input tax credit, sir? we have input tax credit, right? So on this entire 50 lakhs, it is very much probable that with some minor percentage of deviation, mostly I would have purchased from GST registered taxpayers. So this 50 lakhs may be subject to input tax credit. I will have handful of input tax credit on this 50 lakh, probably 18% or 5% or 12% according to the rate at which the product is classified. Correct. And labor, will I have input tax credit, sir? In labor, generally, I will not have input tax credit because I am giving salary to my own employees who are in my role. So there will not be any input tax credit, except if I have off-roll manpower. I have availed the service of a manpower supplier and was supplied manpower to me. In that case, except that case, I have input tax credit on this point. Correct, sir. And point number 3 and 4, some I may have input tax credit and some I may not have input tax credit. For this example, let us assume that entire 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs, I have input tax credit. So out of 120 lakhs, 50 lakh will be subject to input tax credit. 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs will be subject to ITC. 20 lakh, ITC will not be there. On this 30 lakhs, will I have any ITC, sir? I will not have any ITC because it is a profit. Correct, sir? Out of this 150 lakhs, how much is subject to input tax credit? 50 is 50, 100 lakhs. Correct, sir? So 30 plus 20 will not have input tax credit. Correct, sir? So 50 divided by 150, 1/3. So whenever a taxpayer pays tax, how do we pay tax, sir? Output tax minus input tax, net tax I will pay through my electronic cash ledger. So the inference what we can derive from this statement is that at least 1/3 of my output tax liability shall be paid in cash, except certain situations. Generally, we see claims when we scrutinize their returns. While we file GSTR 9 and 9C, we can have the summarized version of GSTR 3B filed by the clients for 12 months, consolidated 12 months 3B. 3B summary will be available in the annual return field. Correct. Annual return in the GSTN portal. When I go on to the annual return, there you can see GSTR 3B summary. When you click on that, for the 12 months 3B return will be displayed. What is 12 months taxable value? GST, SGST, output tax, how much, input tax, how much I've taken. And the last table, set off table, total output tax. Out of total output tax, how much I have set off with my input tax credit, how much I have paid through cash ledger. This is the summary. This is very important table in summary 3B. Before we finalize tax audit, we need to see, sir. Why? Because whether the client genuinely has input tax credit, carry forward input tax credit, or something else is happening. Meaning, if in the client lay pathina, sir, 1/3 50 lakhs input tax credit கிடையாது என்னோட total cost structure. So அப்ப நான் cash ledger வழியா என்னோட tax கட்டணும். அப்ப நிறைய clients every month input tax credit carry forward பண்ணிட்டே போறாங்கன்னா அவரோட industry, அவரோட businessக்கு அது கரெக்ட் தானா அப்படிங்கறத we need to use our professional skepticism. How, sir? There are certain situations which a client is allowed to carry forward his input tax credit, like heavy capitalization. He has invested heavy amount in his plant and machinery, new factory, expansion as the client has gone for expansion. In the mari samayathala, he may have bundle of input tax credit. Export client irukkaru, inverted tax structure la irukkaru. Inoda output tax 5%, input tax 12%, 18% la irundha enakku input tax credit, excess input tax credit irukradhukku vaayippu irukku. Seasonal industry irukkaru. Seasonal industry irundha he may have input tax credit. ஏன்னா வருஷம் ஃபுல்லா ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ண போறாரு, தீபாவளி சமயத்துல மட்டும் விற்க போறாரு ஃபயர்வொர்க் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி. லைக் சோ இந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸ் தவிர நார்மல் ட்ரேடரா இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒருத்தர் எவ்ரி மந்த் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட்ட கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே போனார்னா அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம் சார்? either entire sale is not shown or is touching in his selling price. So this is one of the parameter used by the department whether the client is genuinely carrying forward his input tax credit or he is doing something else. So இது ஒரு hint sir. நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு tax audit client finalize பண்றப்ப இந்த major cost எடுத்துட்டு எதுல input tax credit இருக்க வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு அப்படிங்கறத பார்த்துட்டு whether our input tax credit carry forward பண்றாரு அப்படினா we need to alert the client of the consequence. So generally sir நம்ம financial statementல இந்த aspects நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்குது சார். இதுல தான் நமக்கு omission வர வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. Sir, could someone help me in stopping this annotation?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
So இதுல என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா சார், expenses, what are all the credit entries which are passed in expenses? It could be even purchases. Purchasesல என்ன சார் credit entry இருக்கலாம், purchase returns இருக்கலாம். அப்ப purchase returns இருந்தா நம்ம உடனே என்ன சார் பார்க்கணும், purchase return ஒரு ரேட் வைஸா பர்ச்சேஸ் பிரிச்சு அடிச்சிருந்தாலும் சரி, ஓவராலா ஒரே பர்ச்சேஸ் அக்கௌண்ட் டாலியில வச்சிருந்தாலும் சரி, கிரெடிட் சைடுல இருக்கக்கூடிய பர்ச்சேஸ் வேல்யூக்கு உண்டான ரெஸ்பெக்டிவ் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் has he reversed. If he has not reversed in 3B with reference to the purchase returns value, then there is a liability. We need to reverse the input tax credit and take those input tax credit to rates and taxes account or material consumption account, so that at least allowance is there in IT when we file it in the year in which it is detected. In case if it is not detected after 2 years, if we are if it is deducted by the department, even in income tax we may not be able to claim that as an expenditure as per section 37 of Income Tax Act, because one of the conditions laid down in 37 is expenditure shall be incurred for the year, meaning prior period expenditure shall be disallowed under Income Tax Act. So wherever ineligible input tax credit is there, if we find that at the time of finalizing tax audit itself, the same can be taken to P&L account, rates and taxes or consumption account, and that can be claimed as allowance. Credit entries in expense account, why we need to see, like purchases I said, other expenses, reimbursement, rent expenses, is there any scope for income omission? Raw material consumption account la credit side where enna sir irukkalam, raw material sales, sale of raw materials, has it been shown in GST or 3B return, whether tax has been charged on it or not, free samples whether credited to material consumption account. At the same time, debit entries in income account. Why should I see debit entries in income account, sir? Sales account, why should I see debit side? Sales return, whether the client has reduced his output tax liability, it is a benefit. Suppose as in yesterday's first budget, they have made a very important amendment, sir. What is that amendment, sir? The last last date for claiming input tax credit or making any amendments for the year is extended to 30th November from the due date of filing September return. It's a very welcoming amendment made by the government. Why, sir? In the last date for filing income tax return, we forget about this extension for the time being. Generally, the last date for filing income tax return is 31st October, 30th September tax audit report. One more month is given after finalizing income tax return. If you find any discrepancy, or at the time of filing income tax return, if you find any discrepancy, please do that amendment in GST return. Why am I saying this here, sir? In case of sales, if there is any debit entry excess, if whether in case the client has not reversed his output tax, meaning it is a benefit. Whenever sales return comes up, you should have raised a credit note, and that output tax can be reduced from his output tax liability. If he has not done so, we can ask him to do it at the time of filing income in tax audit. And the fourth point is the common omission, sir. நிறைய பேர் கேக்குறாங்க, சார் ரெண்டல் இன்கம்க்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டணுமா சார், ரெண்டல் இன்கம் P&L அவர் கொடுக்கவே இல்லையே சார், ஆனா ஹவுஸ் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இன்கமா நம்ம காமிச்சிருக்கோம். கமர்ஷியல் ரெண்ட் வந்துச்சுன்னா வெதர் நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு ரிட்டர்ன்ஸ் ஃபைல் பண்றப்ப அங்க ரெக்கார்ட் ஆகலனாலும் அவரோட பர்சனல் புக்ஸ்ல இருக்குது, அல்லது ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இன்கம்ல தனியா காமிச்சிருக்கோம் அப்படின்னா, தட் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் தி பாயிண்ட் லுக்ட் பை தி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். இன்கம் ஃப்ரம் ஹவுஸ் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி, இன்கம் ஃப்ரம் அதர் சோர்சஸ், இஸ் தேர் எனி ஸ்கோப் ஆஃப் சப்ளை எக்ஸிஸ்ட்? As the client paid GST for those aspects, we need to check, sir. This is the general parameter we need to see before finalizing tax audit report. Now let us move component by component, sir. In each of the component of financial statement, what are all the GST aspects need to be verified? We'll see. Generally, we will compare the credit side of the profit and loss account and with that of GST or 3B return and 1 return filed. So that could be slippery area. Deletion in fixed assets. Deletion in sale of fixed assets. When sale of fixed assets exists, we need to see whether the client has paid tax on it. Has he applied correct rate of tax? Our AC nale 18% போட்டாரா, எல்லாத்துக்கும் 18, அவரோட ப்ராடக்ட் 18% கவர் ஆகுறதுனால எந்த அசெட்டை வித்தாலும் 18% போடுறாரா, So rate of tax correct. And one more important point, in case he is selling any asset purchased in GST period, is he complying with section 18 subsection 6? What is that section 18 subsection 6, sir? Generally, the two steps are prescribed. The first step is transaction value into rate of tax, and next one is input tax credit, quarterly 5%. We have to apply that 5%. Suppose 1 lakh ஒருத்தர் வந்து input tax credit எடுத்துக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னா அவர் வாங்கின இப்ப 2021 ஆகஸ்ட் 2020 ல பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணிருக்காரு, மார்ச் 2021 ல சேல் பண்றாரு அப்படின்னா எத்தனை குவார்டர் சார்? 3 quarters of elapsed. So 3 into 5%, 15%. 1 lakh minus 15%, 15,000, 85,000. 85,000 is step 2. Step 1 is, suppose he is selling for 5 lakhs, the rate of tax is 5%, 50,000. Then whichever is higher need to be paid as tax. So 18.6 பார்க்கணும் சார். அவர் ஏதாவது கார் வித்திருக்கிறாரு, மோட்டார் கார் சேல் பண்ணிருக்கமே, மோட்டார் வெஹிக்கிள் சேல் பண்ணிருக்காரு அப்படின்னா நோட்டிபிகேஷன் நம்பர் 8/2018, sale value minus WDV, has he complied with, we need to see sir whenever there is. அதே போல இன்னொரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் சார், sale of fixed assets இருக்கிறப்ப in case of big companies there is a small shortcut formula, we can work it out and cross verify whether correct sale value has been disclosed in GST return. How do we do that sir? In gross block, sale of cost oda sale deletion irukka podu, sale minus depreciation reserve, accumulated depreciation reserve la deletion la irukkrada reduce panni, loss on sale of assets deduct panni, profit on sale of assets add பண்றப்ப எத்தனை asset வித்திருக்காரோ அத்தனை asset ஓட cash received on the sale I will be able to ascertain, and this will be cross verified with your IT block. IT block depreciation, deletion in income tax block depreciation, is getting matched. Whatever is there in income tax depreciation schedule as deletion shall be the value to be reported, I mean on which the GST should have been paid. Is it matching with your GSTR 3B breakup figure? That is what we need to check in case of sale of fixed assets. Assets with job worker, year end la confirmation with job worker 3 years ku mela irundha section 143, as per section 143 it is a deemed supply, he needs to pay tax on it. At the same time, when the company has more than one GSTN, if there is any asset transfer, so எப்பயுமே சார் head office branch, எனக்கு 5 ஸ்டேட்ல GST RC இருக்கு அப்படின்னா ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டேட்டோட RC ஓட லெட்ஜரை I need to scrutinize, because is there any asset transfer, are there any goods stock transfer exist, or any services supply to them? All of them are subject to GST in terms of schedule 1 supply, because deemed supply without consideration, is there any scope for tax liability exists, we need to verify. And all addition to fixed assets, building addition account, whether any ITC has been availed in case of motor car, whether they have taken any ITC on it. At the time of capitalizing in books of accounts, have they capitalized input tax credit also along with the cost? If they have capitalized along with the cost, then depreciation cannot be claimed in income tax return. So if they are claiming depreciation in income tax, also in books they are separately showing ITC, both are wrong. In case they are separately disclosing input tax credit, taking the input tax to input tax receivable account, then depreciation cannot be claimed. That is one of the points need to be seen in case of fixed assets. Very important, sir. Before we see these points, very importantly, whenever an investigation or audit comes to the premises of the assessee, the first point they will check stock count, especially surprise verification. Investigation by the State Department or preventive unit of Central Department, when they visit the assessee's premises, the first question they'll raise, sir, stock register கொடுங்க. அந்த stock register கொடுங்கங்கிற கேள்விக்கு assessee client ஒரு பதில சொல்லிட்டாருன்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. என்ன சொல்லக்கூடாது சார், நாங்க ஸ்டாக் ரெஜிஸ்டர் வச்சுக்கிறது இல்ல சார், ஏன்னா எங்களுக்கு வந்து நிறைய இன்யூமரபிள் ஐட்டம்ஸ் இருக்கிறதுனால ஸ்டாக், ஸோ அது சொல்லிட்டாரு அப்படின்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. ஸோ இன்னைக்கு என்ன கிழமை? Thursday. நாளைக்கு என்ன கிழமை சார்? Saturday. ஸோ Saturn வந்த மாதிரி தான், ரைட்டா? அதோட கான்சிக்வன்ஸ் சொல்றேன் சார், ப்ளீஸ் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஸ்டாக் ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஒருத்தர் வச்சுக்கலனா section 35 subsection 6 of the CGST Act, very important section sir. What does it say? In case stock register is not properly maintained or no stock register is maintained, then the proper officer has power to value the unaccounted stock as the omitted supply and he can charge tax on it. எப்படி சார் பண்ணுவாரு? என்கிட்ட ஸ்டாக் நிறைய இருக்கு, பெரிய ஐட்டத்தெல்லாம் அவர் வெரிஃபை பண்ணினாலும் கூட ஓவராலா பிசிக்கலா வெரிஃபை பண்ணி அவர் க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக் எடுத்து வச்சுக்கிறாரு. ஏன்னா டீமோட வர்றாங்க, வர்றப்பயே கம்பெனி சைஸை பொறுத்தளவுக்கு ஆபீசர்ஸ் ஆர் கம்மிங் வித் a big team. So when they count the stock, how do they ascertain whether suppressed stock is there or not? Simply they'll do 31st March, suppose இன்னைக்கு வராங்க, அவங்க இன்னைக்கு இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் வராங்க அப்படின்னா 31st March 2021 what is the reported closing stock? It is available. And for this 10 months, sale value is available, purchase value is available. Correct, sir? From my sale value, if I reduce average GP of last 3 years, average gross profit of last 3 years, when I reduce it, I will know the GP percentage. So sales minus GP, I will know cost of sales. With the பொருளோட cost என்னன்னு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சிடும். அப்ப எனக்கு opening stock 1/4/2021 opening stock எவ்வளவுன்னு இருக்கு, opening stock plus purchases எனக்கு 10 monthsக்கு எவ்வளவுன்னு இருக்கு, plus purchases minus cost of sales. எனக்கு என்ன சார் கிடைக்கும்? I will get the closing stock. And this closing stock is compared with the physical closing stock. When there is a discrepancy, suppose 1 crore in a closing stock in the formula padi varudhu, physical value பண்றப்ப 80 lakhs, so 20 lakhs is suppressed sales. கூட இருக்கு 1 crore 20 lakhs, so you did not show your purchases, suppression of purchases. In both way the client will be in trouble. So at least for big items they should maintain stock register. Section 35 is very clear. In case of trading concern, opening stock, day-wise purchase, day-wise sales, closing stock. In case of manufacturing concern, raw material, opening stock plus purchase minus issue for production minus sale of raw materials, closing balance of raw material. And for finished goods, opening stock of finished goods plus produced during the day plus purchases plus minus sales minus shortages, closing stock. So this is how stock register need to be maintained in terms of section 35, failing which this consequence would come. So other than that, when we do the tax audit in closing stock, what do we see? What are the points of verification? So generally for physical verification, some companies have a periodical verification of their stock inventories, and some they do at the year end. As per that physical verification, if there is any discrepancy in stocks, shortages of stocks, which account do they park? Material consumption account. Once shortage of stock is parked in material consumption account or stock write-off account, then respective input tax credit need to be reversed. Whether input tax credit is reversed for shortages identified and recognized in the profit and loss account, the same needs to be verified, sir. And free samples, whether input tax credit reversed or output tax has been paid in terms of Schedule 1 of GST Act. So the same needs to be verified, sir. So these are the various points need to be seen in stock. Debtors, trade receivables. What are the points of verification in debtors? நிறைய பேர் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் சேல்ஸ் பண்ணி ரீஃபண்ட் வாங்குறாங்க சார், பட் அதுல இருக்கக்கூடிய nuances one need to verify. So when we scrutinize the debtors account, we may do subsequent procedures, everything, but in GST there is an important rule called rule number 96B. What does that say? All your export proceeds, so நம்ம debtors la export debtors எவ்வளோ நாள் outstanding இருக்காங்கங்கறத we need to check, sir. Why should I check that? Because as per rule 96B, I have to recover my export proceeds within 9 months. That is time prescribed in FEMA, within 9 months from the date of invoice. And this 9 months has been extended to 15 months for sales up to July 2020. Because of COVID, the RBI has relaxed. Except that period, all proceeds are to be recovered within a period of 9 months from the date of invoice. Failing which, if export outstanding exists more than 9 months, then the refund received shall be paid back to the department along with the interest. So that is what rule 96B says. In case of export of services, if sale proceeds are not recovered, the benefit of LUT will be withdrawn. Next important point, sir. Transaction with related parties. Who are all the related parties? Anyhow, will be disclosing under AS 18, and moreover in tax audit report, payment to related party will disclose. Whenever sale to related party exists, what is the point of verification, sir? Let me tell an example. I sell a product to Prabhakaran sir, chairman sir, at rupees 40 per kg. I am selling a product at 40 per kg, rupees 40 per kg to Prabhakaran sir. I have a sister concern. I have a subsidiary company. To that company, same product, the same nature of product I have sold to Prabhakaran sir. The same type of product I am selling to my sister concern, say X Limited, right? Now, for the sale to X Limited, I have charged 30 rupees per kg. To chairman sir, I have sold for 40 rupees per kg. For this sale to related party, should I pay GST on 30 rupees or 40 rupees is the question, sir. Very, very important, sir. Third party ki விக்கிறப்ப 40 ரூபாய்க்கு விக்கிறேன், என்னோட ரிலேட்டட் பார்ட்டிக்கு விக்கிறப்ப 30 ரூபாய்க்கு விக்கிறேன். இப்ப GST 30 ரூபாய்க்கு தான் போட்டு அவர்கிட்ட கலெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன் என்னோட ரிலேட்டட் பார்ட்டிட்ட. இப்ப ஆபீசர் வந்து பாக்குறப்ப என்னைய 30 ரூபீஸ்க்கு GST கட்டினது கரெக்ட்னு சொல்லுவாரா, இல்ல நீங்க ஒரு தேர்ட் பார்ட்டிக்கு இதே ப்ராடக்ட்ட 40 ரூபீஸ்க்கு சேல் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, அதனால நீங்க இவருக்கும் 40 ரூபீஸ் தான் கட்டணும்னு சொல்லுவாரா? Is a very, very important question, sir. So the point of answer lies in rule number 28 of CGST rules. என்ன சொல்றாங்க சார், நான் ரிலேட்டட் பார்ட்டிக்கு சேல் பண்ணக்கூடிய ப்ராடக்ட்டை வச்சு அவரு ஒரு டாக்ஸபிள் ப்ராடக்ட்டை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணி ஃபுல்லா அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ் கட்டுற பட்சத்துல அவருக்கு நான் சேல் பண்ணக்கூடிய ப்ராடக்ட் பிளாக்டு கிரெடிட்டா இல்லாத பட்சத்துல he will be able to take 100% input tax credit. So when he is able to take 100% input tax credit, then whatever price I have given, I have charged in my invoice is the open market value. It is enough that I pay GST on 30 days. In case he is not able to pay, he is not able to take input tax credit, meaning the product which I have sold is going to manufacture an exempted final product, then he will not be allowed to take input tax credit of the product which I have sold to him. In that case, I need to ascertain the open market value. What is the open market value? The price, the same nature of product I sold to Prabhakaran sir for rupees 40. So even though I have charged 30 rupees to my related party, I have to pay GST on 40 rupees. So please understand when the concept of open market will apply and when it will not apply. So when the my related party is able to take 100% input tax credit, whatever price I have charged to him is the open market value. That is what in debtors we have to call out those related parties and whether valuation price charged to them is in tune with rule number 28 of GST rules. Retention in case of contract claims, retention money received, retention whether GST has been paid in terms of contract agreement. Obviously we'll analyze about contractors when GST needs to be paid at a later point of time. ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம் சார், இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் லெட்ஜர். இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் லெட்ஜர் எப்படிலாம் நம்ம வச்சிருக்கோம் சார், சிஜிஎஸ்டி இன்புட், எஸ்ஜிஎஸ்டி இன்புட், ஐஜிஎஸ்டி இன்புட். கரெக்ட்டுங்களா? நான் இன்புட்டையும் அவுட்புட்டையும் சேர்த்து இதுல கவர் பண்ணிடுறேன் சார். ஜென்ரலா அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ் லைபிலிட்டி சைட்ல வச்சிருக்கோம், இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கரண்ட் அசெட்ஸ்ல வச்சிருக்கோம், ரைட்டுங்களா சார்? சோ அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ்ல எனக்கு என்ன பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் செக்கிங் சார், கிளைண்ட் எல்லாத்தையும் அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காரு, ஜிஎஸ்டி ரிட்டர்ன்ல அவர் என்னெல்லாம் அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ் போட்டிருக்காரோ அதுவும் என்னோட புக்ஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ் மேட்ச் ஆகுது. இதை ஏன் சார் பார்க்கணும்? நெக்ஸ்ட் செஷன்ல பாலசுப்ரமணியன் சார் சொல்லுவாரு. GSTR 9(9)C பண்றப்ப டேபிள் நம்பர் 9 of 9, டேபிள் நம்பர் 9 of 9C should speak a language that should be understandable. கரெக்ட்? அதுக்கு நம்ம புக்ஸ் கரெக்டா இருக்கணும். அப்ப புக்ஸ்ல நான் எப்படி சார் பாக்குறது? இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் அக்கௌண்ட் பொறுத்தளவுக்கு மார்ச் சப்போஸ் 2021 டாக்ஸ் ஆடிட் பார்த்திருக்கோம், ஃபினான்ஷியல் இயர் 2021 டாக்ஸ் ஆடிட் பார்த்திருக்கோம். மார்ச்ல சிஜிஎஸ்டி, எஸ்ஜிஎஸ்டி, ஐஜிஎஸ்டி இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் இருக்கு சார். அந்த பேலன்ஸ் எனக்கு போர்ட்டலோட மேட்ச் ஆகணுமா? Not at all. It will not match with my portal balance even if the client has excess input tax credit. மார்ச்சோட செட் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரி நான் பாஸ் பண்ணல அப்படின்னா, மார்ச் மாசம் நான் அக்கவுண்ட் பண்ண இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் தான் என்னோட க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸா நிக்கணும். எப்ப நிக்காது சார்? ஜென்ரலா அந்த கிளைண்ட் கேஷ் லெட்ஜர் வழியா கட்டக்கூடிய டாக்ஸ் கட்டக்கூடிய ஒரு கிளைண்டா இருக்கிற பட்சத்துல என்னோட க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் ஆஃப் மார்ச்ல நான் எவ்வளவு இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் எடுத்திருக்கணும் அதுதான் க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் ஆஃப் தட் லெட்ஜரா இருக்கணும். இல்லாத பட்சத்துல அவர் கிரெடிட்டை கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணக்கூடிய ஒரு கிளைண்டா இருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னா இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட்டை கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட், நான் நிறைய ரீசன் எப்பெல்லாம் அவர் கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணலாம்னு சொன்னேன், அந்த ஒரு நேச்சரான கிளைண்டா இருக்கிறாருன்னா பிப்ரவரி வரைக்கும் என்ன க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கோ அது போர்ட்டல்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய கிரெடிட் பேலன்ஸோட மேட்ச் ஆகும் சார். போர்ட்டல்ல என்ன கிரெடிட் பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கோ அந்த பேலன்ஸும் என்னோட புக்ஸ்ல பிப்ரவரி 2021ல இருக்கக்கூடிய க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸும் மேட்ச் ஆகணும். அப்புறம் மார்ச்ல நான் எவ்வளவு ஐடிசி எடுத்திருக்கணும் அதுவும் பிளஸ் பிப்ரவரி பேலன்ஸ் செட் ஆஃப் பண்ணது போக பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கக்கூடிய பிப்ரவரி க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் ஆஃப் மார்ச்ல டேலி ஆகும் சார். அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸை பொறுத்தளவுக்கு ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் கேஸ், மார்ச்சோட பேலன்ஸ் மட்டும்தான் அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ்ல நிக்கணும். சரி சார், இப்ப இன்புட் டாக்ஸ்ல எப்ப சார் பேலன்ஸ் எக்ஸசிவா இருக்கலாம்? 4 ரீசன் சொன்னோம். அது போக இன்னொரு ரீசன், ஈவன் கேஷ்ல கட்டக்கூடிய ஒரு கிளைண்ட்டுக்கும் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் எக்ஸசிவா நிக்கலாம். எப்ப சார்? GSTR 2Bல வந்தா மட்டும்தான் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் நம்ம எடுக்க முடியும். இப்ப பட்ஜெட்ல இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் GSTR 2B டைட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார். அதாவது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சீம்லெஸ் கிரெடிட், இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட்னாலே எல்லாமே எடுத்துக்கலாம் ஜிஎஸ்டில அப்படின்னு இருந்தது. ஒவ்வொரு வருஷமும் 2 கண்டிஷனை ஆட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே வராங்க. செக்ஷன் 16ல இன்னும் நிறைய கண்டிஷன்ஸ் ஆட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Obviously, I heard that tomorrow the branch has a session on budget, so I'm not going in depth of it. And now எந்த கிளைண்ட் GSTR 2Bல இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் வராம கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணிட்டே வராரோ டு தட் எக்ஸ்டென்ட் உங்களோட இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட்ல மார்ச் பேலன்ஸை விட ஆட் பண்ணிக்கணும். ஸோ இந்த கன்ஃபியூஷன் வராம இருக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன பண்ணலாம் சார்? உங்களோட 2Bல வராம எடுத்த கிரெடிட்டை தனி லெட்ஜர்ல வச்சுக்கிறது. இட் வில் பி an op mechanism. கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் GSTR 2B ITC அப்படின்னு தனி லெட்ஜர்ல வச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா உங்களோட நார்மல் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட்டும் போர்ட்டல் பேலன்ஸ் will always match. கேஷ் லெட்ஜர்ல கட்டக்கூடிய கிளைண்டா இருக்கிற பட்சத்துல மார்ச்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் மட்டும் க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸா நிற்கும். So this is what we need to verify as far as input tax credit is concerned. இது எப்படி சார் ஜெனரலா நம்ம பண்றது while we are filing 99C or even at the time of filing tax audit report, April to March, what is the credit availed in GSTR 3B? What is the credit?
Tax GST, the digital world is over. Almost going. He's asking a lot of people one by one. He's having.
So while sir, any query is being asked or what? So in that case, it is appropriate to bifurcate your credit which is not there in GSTR 2B to a separate ledger. It will get always matched. This is what we need to see under input tax credit account. So எப்படி நம்ம இத மேட்ச் பண்ணனும்னு சொன்னேன் சார். Credit availed as per GSTR 3B April to March, credit availed as per books of accounts April to March. Difference என்ன இருக்கு, அந்த difference ஓட ரீசன் என்ன நம்ம reconcile பண்ணி வச்சிட்டோம்னா it will be very easy. Same way, credit utilized as per GSTR 3B, credit utilized as per books of accounts. What is the difference? Is my books of account matching with the GSTR 3B return? What is the point of difference? Do I have to correct my GSTR 3B or do I have to correct my books? In the reconciliation is very, very important, sir, because omitted credit, if there is any omitted credit, the client will be able to take. And in case excessively taken credit exists in GSTR 3B, that can also be noticed and reversed, and that can be taken to expenses account. That tax can be taken to expenses account. So that can be done at the time of finalizing the tax audit itself. So next, very, very important components, sundry creditors. Trade payable la enna sir paakano? Aging schedule client கொடுத்தா ஓகே, இல்லாட்டி டாலில நம்மளே ஏஜிங் ஷெட்யூல் எடுக்கலாம். சார் அவர் பில் வைஸ் நாக் ஆஃப் பண்ணல. ரொம்ப இப்ப நான் சொல்லக்கூடிய பாயிண்ட் சார், இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் ஸ்க்ரூட்டினிலையும் பாக்குறாங்க, ஜிஎஸ்டிலையும் நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கு சார். இப்ப ஐ அம் கோயிங் டு டெல் அ பாயிண்ட் that places a vital role at the time of income tax scrutiny and also GST scrutiny. What is that? First we'll see GST scrutiny, and thereafter what point of dispute is raised by income tax department at the time of even in faceless scrutiny. Sir, in my creditors, what is the expectation in terms of GST law section 16? proviso, I have to reverse the input tax credit in case I fail to pay to my creditor within a period of 180 days from the due date of payment. Correct, sir? So 180 days குள்ள நான் பே பண்ணாட்டி நான் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் ரிவர்ஸ் பண்ணும். இது எப்படி சார் பாக்குறது? ஏஜிங் ஸ்கெட்யூல் வச்சு பார்க்கணும். ஏஜிங் ஸ்கெட்யூல் இல்ல. சரி, டாலியில நம்மளே எடுத்துக்கலாம் அப்படின்னா டாலியில என்ன இருக்க வாய்ப்பு இல்லை சார். அவர் ஆன் அக்கௌண்ட் பேமெண்டா போட்டு வச்சிருக்காரு, பில் வைஸ் நாக் ஆஃப் பண்ணல, ஜஸ்ட் லைக் தட் அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காரு. இப்ப டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் எப்படி பார்ப்பாங்க சார்? ரொம்ப ஈஸியா ஒரு வழியில கண்டுபிடிச்சிருவாங்க சார். ஜிஎஸ்டி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட், இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் இதே மெத்தடாலஜி தான். அவங்க ஆல்ரெடி இந்த மெத்தடாலஜி ஒரு 3 இயர்ஸ் முன்னாடியே யூஸ் பண்ணி இப்ப நீங்க வரக்கூடிய ஸ்க்ரூட்டினில கிரெடிட்டார்ஸ் பிரேக்கப் கேட்கறப்ப இந்த மெம்பர்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் பார்த்திருக்கலாம். எப்படி கேட்கறாங்க சார்? ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ், டெபிட், கிரெடிட், க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் பார்ட்டி வைஸ் கொடுங்க சார். ஒரு பார்ட்டிக்கு ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ் 1 lakh இருக்கு சார். வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாயிண்ட் சார். ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் பார்ட்டிக்கு 1 lakh ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கு. டெபிட் சைடு 20,000 இருக்கு சார். கிரெடிட் சைடு ஒரு 1 lakh இருக்கு சார். அப்ப க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் எவ்வளவு சார்? 1 lakh minus 20,000 plus 1 lakh 1,80,000 will be the closing balance. Correct, sir? அப்ப என்ன அர்த்தம்? Debit 20,000 na what does it represent? I have made a payment of only rupees 20,000 out of my opening balance. 1 for 2020 ல 1 lakh இருக்கு. நான் எவ்வளவு தான் ஒரு கொடுத்திருக்கேன்? 20,000 தான் கொடுத்திருக்கேன். பேலன்ஸ் 80,000க்கு நான் என்ன பேமெண்ட் பண்ணல. அப்புறம் கரண்ட் இயர்ல பர்ச்சேஸ் எவ்வளவு பண்ணிருக்கேன் சார்? 1 lakh பண்ணிருக்கேன். சோ அப்ப இந்த 1 lakh, இந்த 1 lakhல செப்டம்பருக்கு முன்னாடி எவ்வளவு பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணிருக்கேன்? ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ்ல 20,000 கழிச்சிட்டு 80,000 rupees. சோ 1 lakh அந்த செப்டம்பருக்கு முன்னாடி வாங்கின பர்ச்சேஸ் பிளஸ் திஸ் 80,000 இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் on it I have to reverse. சோ ஜெனரலா இந்த அனலிட்டிக்கல் ப்ரொசீஜரை நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம் சார்? டாலில இருந்து கிரெடிட்டார்ஸ் லெட்ஜர் எடுத்து ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ், டெபிட், கிரெடிட், க்ளோசிங் பேலன்ஸ் போட்டு எக்ஸலுக்கு நம்ம போட்டுட்டு யார் டெபிட் மைனஸ் ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ் போட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா எங்கெல்லாம் ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ் எக்ஸசிவா இருக்கோ அங்கெல்லாம் அந்த பார்ட்டிக்கு பேமெண்ட் பண்ணல அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம். கரெக்டா சார்? இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் என்ன சார் பாக்குறாங்க ஸ்க்ரூட்டினில? சீரியல் நம்பர், நேம் அண்ட் அட்ரஸ், நேம், பேன், அட்ரஸ் ஆஃப் தி பார்ட்டிஸ், ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ், பர்ச்சேசஸ் மேட் டூரிங் தி இயர், பேமெண்ட் மேட். அப்ப நான் இப்ப சொன்ன எக்ஸாம்பிளே வச்சுக்கோங்க சார். ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸ்ல 20,000 தான் கொடுத்துருக்கோம் அவருக்கு, இன்னும் 80,000 கொடுக்கல. கரண்ட் இயர்ல வேற பர்ச்சேஸ். டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் என்ன கேக்குறாங்க? யாரு சார் அந்த தர்ம பிரபு? ஓப்பனிங் பேலன்ஸே முழுசா அவங்ககிட்ட வாங்கல, கரண்ட் இயர்லயும் உங்களுக்கு நிறைய நீங்க கேட்க சேல்ஸ் பண்றாரு, அவர்கிட்ட ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்ட் வாங்கிக்கலாம். நான் சொல்ற எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்காக 1,80,000 வச்சு சொல்றேன் சார். ரியல் டைம் சினாரியோல எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பாருங்க. அப்பனா என்ன அர்த்தம் சார்? அவர் என்ன பண்ணிருக்காரு? பேமெண்ட் எல்லாம் எப்படி கொடுத்து க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு? கேஷ்ல கொடுத்து க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு. இங்க புக்ஸ்ல அக்கௌண்ட் ஆகாது ஆப்வியஸா. So meaning thereby those cash, what is the source? So that's how department sees income tax department. As far as GST department is concerned, this 180 days concept is rested upon that. And in creditors, I have to see foreign creditors list. Why should I see foreign creditors list, sir? Foreign creditors la ennalla irukkalam sir. What could be the points which you may see in foreign creditors? As far as foreign creditor is concerned, it could be because of material import or service import. Material importer na enna sir paakano? As he paid ocean freight, GST on ocean freight. Of course, the case is pending before Supreme Court. Several courts, high courts have taken a stand that RCM cannot be paid on ocean freight. But then department demands tax. Department, be it central department or state department, they demand tax for ocean freight. Ocean freight நீங்க கொடுத்துருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்ல. Ocean freight நீங்க செப்பரேட்டா கொடுக்காட்டாலும் in terms of IGST laws, ocean freight import purchases, 10% of import purchases shall be deemed as ocean freight charges, out of which 5% needs to be paid as RCM. So that's how ocean freight RCM needs to be calculated in case separately ocean freight is not available. Likewise, service creditors are in the import of services. For import of services, reverse charge mechanism, whether tax has been paid. Import of services, separate slide I have put, sir. We'll discuss on that. But then when it comes for creditors, state payable, you need to see whether any foreign creditors are available. In case of foreign creditors, material purchase, material import, ocean freight, service import, whether RCM is applicable in terms of place of supply provision, section 13 of IGST Act, we need to verify whether RCM is applicable, has the claim paid of the same. Job workers account, whether any debits for short receipt. So suppliers la job worker irundappa job worker oda ledger la short receipt of materials ku edha avara debit pannirukoma. Appa avara debit pannirundha material has not come. The material which I have sent to him has not come, hence I have debited him, meaning that I need to reverse the input tax credit because I have not used it for my business. It has lost and I have debited my job worker also. ITC will be reversed in case of short receipt of goods from the job worker account. And share capital, proprietor or partner's capital, NSR partner. Share capital, shares issued for consideration other than cash. So the shareholder konturare, property konturare, even partner is introducing any assets or stock to the partnership firm. It is a supply, sir. Please remember, in case of capital account, instead of cash, any material is supplied by the partner. Is it chargeable to tax in the hands of partner as supply? Does he hold GST registration? If he holds GST registration, if he has introduced capital by way of giving any material, is it chargeable to tax? We need to verify. Ulta, a partner is retiring from the firm. A firm is dissolved. When stock is taken over by the partner, asset is taken over by the partner, it is a supply, whether any tax has been remitted. So capital account analyze பண்றது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம் சார். Whether scope for chargeability exists, we need to verify. அதே போல பர்சனல் பர்பஸ்க்காக ஏதாவது ஸ்டாக்கையோ கேபிட்டல் குட்ஸோ எடுத்துட்டு போயிருந்தாங்கன்னா ஷெட்யூல் 1 சப்ளை வருதா அல்லது ஐடிசி நீட்ஸ் டு பி ரிவர்ஸ்டா அப்படிங்கறத பார்க்கணும் சார். அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸ் பேயபிள் யூ ஹேவ் ஆல்ரெடி சீன். அட்வான்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் கஸ்டமர்ஸ் அக்கவுண்ட், very very important, sir, especially in case of construction contracts and all service claims. Those claims were involved in service, especially Pondicherry nala kettavena sir, restaurant na separate restaurants and hotels oda accounts முடிக்கிறப்ப என்னென்ன unique points in GST பார்க்கணும்ங்கிறதுக்கு செப்பரேட்டா நான் ஸ்லைட்ஸ் போட்டிருக்கேன். You will see that. But then in balance sheet current liability ல advance from customers இருந்தா very very important is the claim has the practice of paying tax at the time of receipt of advance itself. மார்ச்ல எவ்வளவு அட்வான்ஸா நம்ம காமிச்சிருக்கோமோ, நம்ம சிம்பிளா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிடுவோம் சார், 26 AS ஓட மேட்ச் பண்றோம். இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்றப்ப we are cross verifying with the 26 AS and AS, correct? So my 26 AS is more, income accounted in books is less. What could be the reason? The client would have received advance from his claims. அவர் அட்வான்ஸ் வாங்கி இருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னா நீங்க வெதர் அந்த பர்டிகுலர் கஸ்டமர் அக்கௌண்டோட மேட்ச் பண்ணாலும் சரி அல்லது தனியா லைபிலிட்டியில காமிச்சாலும் சரி, நம்ம 26 AS ஓட மேட்ச் பண்றப்ப எக்ஸஸ் 26 AS இருந்துச்சுனாலே அது என்ன காரணம் சார், அட்வான்ஸ் வாங்கி இருக்கிறாரு. சோ அதுக்கு ஒரு டாக்ஸ் கட்டியிருக்காரா, அதான் நம்ம GSTR 9ல டேபிள் நம்பர் 4ல அன்அட்ஜஸ்டட் அட்வான்ஸ் பத்தி போடுறோம் நம்ம, ரைட்டுங்களா? அட்வான்சஸ் தி க்ளோஸ் ஆஃப் தி இயர், ரைட்டா? தட் நீட்ஸ் டு பி வெரிஃபைட். And in case of construction contracts, what is to be seen, sir? Very very important, sir. See, இப்ப ஜெனரலா ஒரு குட்ஸோ சர்வீஸோ சப்ளை பண்றதுக்கு அவர் இன்வாய்ஸ் ரைஸ் பண்றப்ப அல்லது பேமெண்ட் ரிசீவ் பண்றப்ப whichever is earlier, tax needs to be paid in case of service. In case of material, at the time of dispatch of material, invoice issued, tax needs to be paid. Coming to construction contract, ஒரு அபார்ட்மெண்ட் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட் பண்றவரு, ஈவன் ரோட் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன்ல இருக்கிறவங்க, what you call a commercial complex construct பண்றவங்களுக்கு எப்ப GST கட்டணும் சார்? Section 31(5)(f). What does it say? When invoice needs to be raised in case of construction contract, accordingly time of supply shall be determined in terms of contract entered with the clients. If due date is mentioned in the agreement, then due date mentioned in the agreement is the date on which invoice needs to be raised, and that is the time of supply. If due date of payment is not mentioned in the agreement, then receipt of payment consideration from the contractee is the time of supply. In case the payment is linked to completion of any event, then that event is the due date of raising invoice. இந்த மூணு ஈவெண்ட்டை நம்ம பார்க்கணும் சார். கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் கான்ட்ராக்டை பொறுத்தளவுக்கு யாராலும் நமக்கு கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் கிளைண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்களோ அவங்க தங்களோட கஸ்டமர்ஸோட போட்டிருக்க அக்ரிமெண்ட்ல டியூ டேட்டை மென்ஷன் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்கன்னா அந்த டியூ டேட்ல இன்வாய்ஸ் ரைஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்களா, அல்லது டியூ டேட் if it is linked to any completion of event னா பேஸ்மெண்ட் முடியறப்ப, லிண்டல் முடியறப்ப, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃப்ளோர் முடியறப்ப, சிவில் ஒர்க் முடியறப்ப இவ்வளவு பேமெண்ட் எனக்கு அட்வான்ஸா கொடுத்துட்டே வரணும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்லியிருந்தா அவர் அட்வான்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாரோ இல்லையோ அந்த ஈவென்ட் முடிய he needs to pay tax. அக்ரிமெண்ட்ல டியூ டேட்டை பத்தி எதுவுமே சொல்லலைன்னா ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். எப்ப ஆக்சுவல் பேமெண்ட் வருதோ அப்ப டாக்ஸ் கட்டினா போதும் சார். தட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். அப்ப நம்ம பேலன்ஸ் ஷீட்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய அட்வான்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் கஸ்டமர்ஸை பார்த்து worry பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்ல. That's how in case of construction contracts time of supply needs to be verified. Key expenses. ஒவ்வொரு எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ்ல இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ்ல என்னெல்லாம் பார்க்கணும் சார்? இதுல some we have covered, அதனால I am not repeating whatever we have already discussed. Material consumption account, cost of goods sold account we have already verified. இந்த cost of goods sold accountல என்ன அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா சார், I am importing any material and that material becomes defective. I will not be able to send it back to my supplier. So அவர் என்ன சொல்றாரு, ஒரு அமௌண்ட் குறைச்சிட்டு எனக்கு பேமெண்ட் போட்டு விடுங்கிறாரு. நான் இங்க என்ன பண்றேன், இது வேஸ்ட், யாரும் வாங்கவும் முடியாது, ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு I am taking that defective material to cost of goods sold account or I am writing it off my P&L account. In that case, we need to verify whether input tax credit has been reversed or not. Whether ITC is to be reversed for any stock write-off or defective imported stock written off. Sales promotion expenses account la enna paakணும் sir? Sponsorship. Is there any scope for sponsorship exist? Sponsorship nala enna vandru sir? Reverse charge. Yaar sponsorship katna reverse charge vandruma sir? No. The service receiver shall be either body corporate or partnership firm including LLP. Individual sponsorship expenses இருந்தா கவலைப்பட தேவையில்லை. Who has to pay sir? That person who receives the sponsorship shall charge GST in his invoice. So இப்ப நம்ம ஒரு ட்ரஸ்ட்டுக்கோ அல்லது ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன் ஈவென்ட் ஆர்கனைசிங் அப்படி போல் ஒரு கம்பெனி வந்து ஈவென்ட் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அதுக்கு ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ் நிறைய, எஸ்பெஷலி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ஸ் நிறைய பண்ணுவாங்க. Hospital registered as charitable trust, they'll conduct seminars, many seminars for which the pharmaceutical companies will give sponsors to them. Now we need to check whether GST is to be charged by our claim or reverse charges applicable. Especially hospital claims இருக்கிறவங்க எல்லாம் ரொம்ப முக்கியமா பார்க்கணும் சார். என்ன பார்க்கணும் சார்? அதுல service provider, supplier of service could be any person. It could be a charitable trust or it could be an individual or it could be a partnership firm. What is to be seen? Service receiver. இப்ப நம்ம கீழ இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு கிளைண்ட் charitable trust ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் வந்து ஒரு செமினார் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணி அது மூலமா பேமெண்ட்ஸ் வாங்குறாங்க, ஸ்பான்சர்ஷிப் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா அந்த நம்ம ஸ்பான்சர்ஷிப் யார்கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்குறோம், அவரு பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் ஃபார்மோ அல்லது பாடி கார்பரேட்டோ இருக்கிற பட்சத்துல நம்ம டாக்ஸ் கட்ட தேவையில்லை. That falls under reverse charge mechanism. We will disclose under exempted supply. At the time இந்த ஸ்பான்சர்ஷிப் எல்லாம் இன்கம் சைடு இருக்கும். ஆபீசர் என்ன பண்ணுவாரு, டோட்டலா இந்த இன்கம் உங்க 3B-யோட மேட்ச் பண்ணி இவ்வளவு தூரம் மிஸ்மேட்ச் இருக்கு, நீங்க டாக்ஸ் கட்டலாம்ன்றாரு. So what we need to do, out of those total sponsorship amount, we need to bifurcate the recipient wise. Those recipients who are body corporate and partnership firm, we are not liable to pay GST, only they have to pay. And in respect of other organizations, receivers, individuals இருக்கலாம், HF இருக்கலாம், societies இருக்கலாம், so அவங்க பே பண்ணிருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா நம்ம தான் சார்ஜ் பண்ணணும். So this important point we need to verify, sir. At the same time, in sales promotion expenses, Diwali gift, gold coin given to customers, diaries, New Year diary calendar given, whether the client has taken input tax credit on it, because input tax credit is blocked in terms of section 17. Diwali gives sweets, gift, what do you call gold coin gifts given to customers, and what do you call this diaries, calendars, input tax credit should not have been taken, whether they have taken. These will come to light when you scrutinize sales promotion expenses account. Freight expense, very very important, sir. Freight itself is a session. If you ask me to take a particular session on GTA, that itself requires a 2-hour session, sir. But then I'm just listing the important points for freight analysis. I have given some case whether GST is to be paid on RCM or not. We'll verify. We'll just scrutinize. Ex-limited paid transport charges to Mr. A. However, Mr. A has outsourced this transportation work to Mr. B and paid freight charges to him. Who is liable to pay RCM on GTA? Ex-limited A க்கு transport charges pay பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ஆனா ஏன் என்ன பண்றாரு, அவரு பண்ணல, அவரு குட்ஸ் எடுத்துன்னு போல, அவரு அதை அவுட் சோர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு. யாருக்கு அவுட் சோர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு, பிக்கு அவுட் சோர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு. இப்ப எக்ஸ் லிமிடெட் ஆர்சிஎம்ல டாக்ஸ் கட்டணுமா, ஏ ஆர்சிஎம்ல டாக்ஸ் கட்டணுமா? அப்ப எக்ஸ் லிமிடெட் டாக்ஸ் கட்டணும்னா ஏக்கு தான் பேமெண்ட் கொடுத்திருக்காரு, ரைட்டுங்களா? சோ எக்ஸ் லிமிடெட் கட்டுவாரா அல்லது ஏ பிக்கு கொடுத்த பேமெண்ட் கட்டுவாரா? So what we need to verify, sir, notification number 13/2017 central tax rate dated 28 June 2017. What does it say? Inga GTA is the person who transports goods by road and issues consignment note. Who gives consignment note? A gives consignment to X Limited, consignment note to X Limited, and he has outsourced this transportation work to B. And two leg of transaction exists here. The transaction between X Limited and A is covered by RCM. It is a taxable service. The transaction covered by A and B is exempt in terms of notification number 12/2017. Any services provided by any person other than a GTA and courier service is exempt. So, and the entry value is exemption. Rendavathu, in case Mr. B has let his truck to A on hire, அவரோட வண்டியை வாடகை கொடுத்திருக்காரு A, அப்பவும் அதுக்கு டாக்ஸ் கிடையாது, because hire charges received if any truck is put let on hire to a GTA, that is also covered by exemption entry. So here X Limited to A will be subject to RCM. Next, Raja, a GTA, provides ancillary services such as packing, loading, unloading, transshipment, etc. along with the transportation services, whether RCM applicable. So நான் என்ன பண்றேன், ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டரை புக் பண்றேன், அவர் வந்து நிறைய நடக்குது சார், அவர் என் குடோன்ல வந்து அவரே மெட்டீரியல் எல்லாத்தையும் பேக் பண்றாரு, லோட் பண்றாரு, எல்லாத்தையும் கொண்டு போய் என்னோட கஸ்டமர் பிளேஸ்ல வந்து திரும்ப அன்பேக் பண்றாரு, அன்லோட் பண்ணி அன்பேக் பண்றாரு, இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் சேர்த்து ஒரு சார்ஜ் போட்டு கொடுத்துறாரு. அப்ப இது ஜிடிஏவா? நான் டாக்ஸ் ஆர்சிஎம்ல கட்டணுமா அல்லது அவரு கட்டணுமா, மிஸ்டர் ராஜா கட்டணுமா அப்படிங்கிறதுதான் கேள்வி, ரைட்டா சார்? So that is a clarification. Circular has already been available in service tax. Same thing is given by GST flyer issued by CBEC, Central Board of Indirect Taxes, which says that whenever an ancillary services are provided by GTA, it is a composite supply. The predominant intention of the transporter is to transport the goods. At the time of transporting the goods, all other incidental services are provided by him. Hence, it is GTA service, RCM shall be applicable. So clarification is available. Third one, very important, sir. Mr. X has 2 trucks and involved in transportation of goods to various clients. Being a small operator, being a small operator, he charges for the said transportation service based on per kilometer basis and does not issue any document towards the same. Whenever he receives payments for the service, he simply signs the voucher issued by the client. Is his service liable to GST? If so, is it subject to RCM? நம்ம நிறைய கிளைண்ட்ஸ்ல பார்க்கலாம் சார். சோ ஜெனரலா போக்கு வண்டி ஒருத்தரை கூப்பிடுவோம்ப்பா, இத போய் நீ அங்க இறக்கி வச்சுட்டோப்பா அப்படிமா, அவர் இறக்கி வச்சுட்டு வந்து என்ன பண்ணிடுவாரு, நம்ம வவுச்சர்ல கையெழுத்து போட்டு காசு வாங்கிட்டு போயிடுவாரு. So is it a GTA service? It is not a GTA service and no tax is liable to be paid. And many judgments are available in service tax regime. And many judgments are available for the department also. It is a GTA service. It is subject to service tax. Honorable Madras High Court, Salem Subramanian's case, adula rule பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Despite controversies existed in service tax, we have a defense in GST, in the GST flyer issued by the department, saying that this particular case is not covered by GTA for the simple reason that that individual truck owner is not giving any document. He does not take the risk of transporting, meaning where at the during transit, if something happens to the goods, he is not liable. I know very well, he does not take any responsibility. He is taking the goods. If something happens during transit, I cannot recover anything. He will not compensate anything for the loss. So hence, it is not a GTA service. It is exempt from tax. Clarification issued by CBEC flyer. Out of this, I am skipping these two. I am going to this one. This is Rajco Limited, because இது நம்ம tax audit பார்க்கறப்ப ஜெனரலா 990 ஃபைல் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த third point நம்ம ரொம்ப நல்லா செக் பண்ணணும் சார். டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் இப்ப ஆடிட் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன்ல பார்த்து இதுக்கு டிமாண்ட் நோட்டீஸ் கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. Mrs. Rajco Limited of Chennai has paid rupees 8,600 for transport of goods from Bangalore to Chennai. Rajco Limited is a buyer, purchased above goods from seller located in Bangalore. Who is liable to pay GST? Rajco Limited, Chennai. Chennai இருக்கக்கூடிய buyer Bangalore இருந்து goods வாங்குறாங்க. So transport வருது பெங்களூர்ல இருந்து வருது. So அவரு 8,600 ரூபாய் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் சார்ஜஸ்க்காக கொடுத்துருக்காரு. இப்ப RCM யாரு கட்டணும்? ராஜ்கோ லிமிடெட் கட்டணும். ரைட்டுங்களா? RCM ராஜ்கோ லிமிடெட்ல CGST SGST கட்டுவாரா, IGST கட்டுவாரா? அதான் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம் சார். சோ இதுக்கு CGST SGST கட்டணுமா அல்லது அவர் CGS தவறுதலா கட்டி இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் எடுத்திருந்தா டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் will issue notice. Correct? Now what we need to see is when IGST will be applicable. Section 8 of IGST Act, location of supplier of service and place of supply, when they are in two different states, then it becomes interstate supply. IGST needs to be paid. So what is the point of verification here? This transporter, the location of the transporter, is he from Bangalore or is he from Chennai? If he is from Bangalore, location of the supplier is Bangalore, place of supply. What section 12 says? When transportation service is provided to a registered person, the location of recipient of such registered person is the place of supply. Here Chennai, Rajco Limited, Chennai. So place of supply Chennai, location of supplier Karnataka, IGST needs to be paid. Suppose the transporter is from Chennai, who goes to Bangalore and who provides the service to Rajco Limited. In that case, CGST, SGST needs to be paid as RCM. So many cases are detected by the department. Care need to be taken before finalizing the account. And other RCM charges, freight expenses க்கு வேற என்னெல்லாம் பார்க்கணும் சார்? மெட்டீரியல் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் சார்ஜஸ்ங்கற லெட்ஜர்ல வச்சிருக்கலாம், பர்ச்சேசஸ்ல சேர்த்து freight போட்டுறலாம். டெபிட் சைடு ஆஃப் தி P&L மட்டும் நம்ம பார்க்க கூடாது. அசெட் சைடுல பிளான்ட் அண்ட் மெஷினரி பர்ச்சேஸ், எனி மெஷினரி பர்ச்சேஸ், பில்டிங் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் அக்கவுண்ட், அதுக்குள்ள freight ஏதாவது ஒளிஞ்சிருக்கா? இது எல்லாத்தையும் டிபார்ட்மென்ட் பார்க்கறாங்க. So at the time of doing tax audit, whether any freight expenses are omitted to be reported as RCM supplies and GST are pre-minuted, we need to verify. And other RCM charges, security charges, tax audit finalize பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த exclusive ledgers இதுக்கு ஒரு reconciliation நம்ம போடணும் சார். எப்படி சார்? P&L serial number, RCM expenses, security charges, legal expenses, professional consultancy charges. அடுத்த காலம் amount as per ledger. அதுக்கு அடுத்த காலம் amount subject to RCM. அதுக்கு அடுத்த காலம் amount reported in 3B. அடுத்த காலம் difference. அடுத்த காலம் tax liability to be paid through DRC 03. இந்த amount time limit முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னா we need to take it to expenses account. And these are the charges, professional consultancy charges, rates and taxes account yes sir பார்க்கணும். என்னோட P&L ல rates and taxes account நான் ஏன் scrutinize பண்ணனும்? Services received from government, all license fees paid to them. Your what do you call this license fees, contract labor license, factory license renewal, ஜெனரலா இத விட்டுறாங்க சார். ஒவ்வொரு ஆடிட்லயும் சென்ட்ரல் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் வந்து பார்க்கக்கூடிய ஆடிட்ல ஒமிட்டட் பாயிண்ட்ல இது இருக்கும் சார். ஃபேக்டரி லைசன்ஸ் ரெனிவல், அதுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டிருக்காங்களா? நெக்ஸ்ட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், ஃபீ பெய்டு ஃபார் இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் ஆத்தரைஸ்டு கேபிட்டல், ஆர்ஓசி ஃபீ பெய்டு ஃபார் இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் ஆத்தரைஸ்டு கேபிட்டல் 18% GST needs to be paid. Next, ROC charges paid over and above 5,000 rupees. It is a new sir. ROC charges paid per service over and above 5,000 for big companies. That is subject to RCM. Director remuneration, whether GST needs to be paid, sir. If he is a full-time director, no GST. Part-time director, GST needs. How do I identify? How do we identify? Is he a full-time director or part-time director? Two conditions. No, nowhere it is specified in Act or rules, but the department sees that and it appears logical also. 2 points. One, in your ROC form, did you mention him as a executive director or non-executive director? Non-executive director is a part-time director. Condition number 2. What is the section under which TDS is deducted? Either under section 192B or under section 184J. If you have deducted TDS under section 184J, then you need to pay GST on RCM. So invariably your sitting fees, whether it is paid to full-time director or a part-time director, better you pay GST and take credit. Sitting fees, RCM exists. And license fee, renting of motor vehicle introduced from 1st October 2019, whether RCM has been paid, sponsorship sufficiently we have discussed. repairs and maintenance just to avail input tax credit, whether any asset has been taken to revenue expenses. Insurance income account, insurance income, whether GST is applicable for insurance income, sir. P&L account, other income like insurance income. Do we have to pay GST on it? For insurance income, no GST. But I have to verify, why have I received insurance income? Is it for damage of my stock or damage of any asset? In case I have taken input tax credit on the same, I need to reverse it now. So the same needs to be verified wherever insurance claim has been received, whether ITC is reversed or not. And import of services exist or not, we have to verify all these ledger accounts, sir. Technical consultancy services, royalty and technical know-how, erection, commissioning. These are the general ledger head where import of services can be hidden. And in your notes on account, expenditure incurred in foreign currency. If it exists, whether tax has been paid for that import of services, we have to verify, sir. Related party transaction, already one example I have given. And a company has 2 branches in Tamil Nadu and sales office in Karnataka and Kerala. We have to verify rent expense account, because even though no supply of goods or services exists from that state, RC needs to be taken because cross charge. Those marketing offices are rendering services to head office in Tamil Nadu. So cross charge needs to be charged and reported in the GST return. This case is an interesting case. Please see, sir. X Limited is liable to pay technical know-how fee towards provision of technical services by one of its holding company in USA. Though provision has been made in books, the same is not paid for 6 months. Later, holding company has paid the fee. So X Limited technical know-how fee royalty kaha provision போட்டுருக்காங்க. So அந்த provision போட்டுட்டு 6 மாசம் ஆச்சு அவங்க பே பண்ணல. ஹோல்டிங் கம்பெனி என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க, நீங்க எனக்கு கொடுக்க வேண்டாம் விட்டுருங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. இப்போ இதுல என்ன சார்? GST needs to be paid as import of services, because it is true that you have received services from them. Schedule 1, what does it say, sir? Services received by any person from a distinct person or a related person outside India. When it is related to your business, even though no consideration exists, GST needs to be paid. That is very important. This is also a common case, sir. Please see. Mr. X is a famous architect in Chennai. His brother is in interior decoration business in Pune. Mr. X has rented free consultancy service to his brother. Is it a supply? Free consultancy services வாங்கிருக்காங்க. Notes on accountsல எங்கயோ ஹைட் ஆயிருக்கு. புடிச்சிட்டாங்க டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். டாக்ஸ் கட்டன்மா இருக்கு. என்னோட பிரதர் கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கிருக்காரு. Actually, explanation to section 15 defines who is a related party. Members of same family is a related party. அப்ப ஃபேமிலிங்கிற டெஃபினிஷன்ல போய் பார்த்தோம்னா, my spouse children are related party. Second point, my parents, brothers, sisters are my related party, are the members of same family, provided they are dependent on them, dependent on me. If they are independent, if they are financially independent, they are not related. So the definition in GST is completely different from income tax, sir. Please see, if my brother or sister or my parents, if they are independent, financially independent, they are not related parties. So in this case, no tax needs to be paid. Very important, sir. So restaurant, let me spend some time on this restaurant service, sir. Very important for Pondi. Because most of the clients may be running accommodation services and restaurant services, right, sir? See, here the rate of tax up to 30th September 2019 is this. Okay, I'm not going line by line. And this presentation, anyhow, I will share it with Prabhakar sir. The same will be circulated among the members, sir.
Thank you, sir.
With effect from 1st October 2019, this is the existing tariff for accommodation service. All lodging services, we are now 0 to 1000 exempt. From 1001 only, 12% with full ITC. From 7501 and above, 18% with full ITC. Right, sir? And coming to restaurant service, 3 times rates have undergone change. Correct? And the present rate is this one. All types of standalone restaurant in hotel premises have declared room tariff. So these are the various accommodation combination. Outdoor catering by a person who owns a hotel and restaurant, outdoor catering by a person who doesn't own hotel and restaurant. So these are the various types of classification applicable for the restaurant and hotel owners. Let us see issues for this. A small lodge in Pondi has a turnover of, because all these points very much important at the time of finalizing a tax audit. Okay. Now, a small lodge in Pondi has a turnover of rupees 20 lakhs per year. However, they have arrangement with OYO, an e-commerce operator. Are they required to take registration and pay GST? Generally, நம்ம 44 AD ல காமிச்சு ஃபைல் பண்ணிடுவோம் சார். பட் இங்க என்ன பாயிண்ட் நம்ம பார்க்கணும் முக்கியமா, அவர் ஒரு ஸ்மால் லாட்ஜ் வச்சிருக்காரு, 20 லட்சம் ரூபாய் கீழே தான் காமிக்கிறார். அவர் ஆர்சி எடுக்கணுமா? Is he required to take RC? What is the threshold limit for service, sir? 20 lakhs. For goods, 40 lakhs. Goods plus services ஒருத்தர் வச்சிருக்காரு, ட்ரேடிங் பிசினஸ் பண்றாரு, கமிஷன் இன்கமும் இருக்கு. அப்ப அவருக்கு எவ்வளவு சார்? 20 lakhs only, not 40 lakhs. ரைட்டுங்களா? Now இவருக்கு 20 lakhs தான் threshold limit. 20 lakhs கீழே தான் இருக்காரு, இல்லைன்னு சொல்லல. அது டர்ன் ஓவர் ஆஃப் 19 lakhs and ஆர்டர் இருக்கு. ஆனா அவர் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாரு, ஓயோட ஒரு அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் வச்சிருக்காரு. அவருக்கு ஆர்சி எடுக்கணுமா? Section number 24. What does it say? Compulsory registration. The moment you have an arrangement with e-commerce operator, the threshold limit will not be applicable. But 65/2017 ஒரு நோட்டிபிகேஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க. அவங்க என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்க சார், அந்த செக்ஷன் 24 compulsory registration for the time being it is kept in abeyance. Exemption is given. Even though, in spite of the fact that section 24 speaks a language, we are giving you an exemption. Even though you have tie up with your e-commerce operator, you need not take RC and pay. Then who will pay? E-commerce operator will pay for those services provided by an unregistered person. That is very important. Next, a lodge having GST registration at Pondi also runs a restaurant. None of the rooms have declared tariff of 7,500 or more. What are the implications in ITC? Very, very important, sir. I don't know how many of the clients are following this. So hotel இருக்கு, lodge இருக்கு, ரைட்டுங்களா? So அப்படி இருக்கிறப்ப அந்த what you call, ஏன் நான் இங்க 7,500 போட்டிருக்கேன் சார், 7,500 மேல இருந்தா rate of GST for restaurants is 18%. Correct. 18% with the ITC. But இங்க 7,500 கீழே தான் இருக்கு. அப்படிங்கிறப்ப என்ன implication நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கு சார்? Very, very important, sir. Operability of your application of your rule number 42 and 43. What are all your common input tax credit? Though you pay 5% GST for restaurant, it is considered as exempt supply as per explanation number 4 to notification number 11/2017, and also your rule 42 section 17(2) explanation. This is an exempted supply. You need to consider that as a common input tax. You have to identify common input tax credit. What do you call reception la poturukkudiya chair and your what do you call common air conditioner, centralized air conditioner இருக்குது, AC maintenance, auditor bill, security charges, office la use பண்ணக்கூடிய printing and stationery, இதோட input tax credit work out பண்ணி rule 42 படி common credit நம்ம reverse பண்ணணும் சார். Very, very important. Next, a lodge having tariff of rupees 800 under standard category and rupees 1,200 under deluxe category. However, it collects charges towards extra bed of rupees 300. Whether GST needs to be charged on such supplies. அதாவது 1,000 rupees வரைக்கும் நமக்கு என்ன கிடையாது சார், GST கிடையாது. கரெக்ட்டுங்களா? சோ டீலக்ஸுக்கு நீங்க 1,200க்கு அவங்க GST வாங்க போறாங்க. இத 800 பொறுத்தளவுக்கு ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் கேட்டகரியில இருக்கு. இப்ப ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் கேட்டகரியில இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ரூமுக்கு 300 எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பெட் வாங்குறாங்க. இப்ப இதுக்கு GST கட்டணும் சார், கட்டணுமா வேணாமா சார்? 1,000 மேல போயிடுச்சுட்டு what we have to see is GST is applicable with effect from 1st of October 2019, and before that it is not applicable, because when you read the classification notification number 11/2017 parent notification, it says value of room tariff. When your value of room tariff is covered within this clause more than 1,000, you need to pay 12% with ITC. But before that, when you see, it says declared tariff. Declared tariff is 1,000. When you collect extra bed charges, it is not subject to GST, but it is only up to 30th September 2019. So for extra bed, அது தனியா இன்கம்ல extra bed charges அக்கவுண்ட் பண்ணி அதுக்கு GST கட்டாம இருந்தாங்கன்னா, extra bed சார்ஜுக்கு மட்டும் GST கட்டணும்னு இல்ல சார், அந்த extra bed charge 1,000 கீழ எங்கெல்லாம் போயிருக்கோ அதுக்கும் சேர்த்து GST கட்டணும். Very, very important. Next. Okay. இதுல இன்னொரு முக்கியமான இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாயிண்ட் இருக்கு சார். நான் 800 சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, 1000க்கு கீழேயும் இருக்கு, 1200. சோ இப்ப லார்ஜ் மட்டும் ஒருத்தர் வச்சிருக்காரு, below 1000 exempted supply, above 1000 taxable supply. Then also rule 42, common input tax credit, have they reversed common. லார்ஜ் மட்டும் பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா மேக்ஸிமம் காமன் கிரெடிட்ல வந்துரும். இந்த 1000 rupeesக்கு கீழே இருக்கக்கூடிய ரூம்ல போட்டிருக்கக்கூடிய ஃபேனு, ஏசி, அதுல இருக்கக்கூடிய ஃப்ரிட்ஜ், அதுக்கெல்லாம் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் எடுக்க முடியாது. அண்ட் யுவர் காமன் மேட், பெட்ஷீட், பில்லோஸ் பர்ச்சேஸ்ட், இது எல்லாமே காமன் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட். அதுல உண்டான ஜிஎஸ்டியை ஃபுல்லா எடுக்க முடியாது. ரூல் 42 படி டர்ன் ஓவர் பேசிஸ்ல இன்புட் டாக்ஸ் கிரெடிட் நீட்ஸ் டு பி ரிவர்ஸ்ட் wherever below 1000 exists. Next point, sir. An ice cream parlor having facility of direct delivery as well as supply at the premises, can they avail benefit of 5% classifying the service as restaurant? Ice cream parlor அங்கே சீட்டிங் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் எல்லாம் வச்சிருக்காங்க. சோ அவங்க வந்து ரெஸ்டாரண்ட்னு போட்டு 5% போட முடியுமா சார்? முன்னால ஏஆர் இருந்துச்சு, ஏஆர் நிறைய ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் கொடுத்திருந்தாங்க, வராதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. Now the government has given a clarification with this 45th GST Council meeting, circular 6th October 2021, circular number 164. Categorically they have clarified that ice cream parlor, ice cream supplied in ice cream parlor is not a restaurant service. Rate applicable to ice cream shall be charged. இதே லாஜிக் எதுக்கும் உண்டு சார், இதே லாஜிக் எதுக்கும் வரும் சார். ஸ்வீட் ஸ்நாக்ஸ், ஸ்வீட் ஸ்டால்ஸ், அவங்க ஸ்வீட்டுக்கு உண்டான ரேட்டை போடணும், சாவரிஸ் காரத்துக்கு அதுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் தனி ரேட்டு, என்ன ரேட்டோ அதை போடணும் சார், 12% போடணும். ஸோ அதை அவங்க ரெஸ்டாரண்டா கிளாசிஃபை பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ வித் திஸ் வில் புட் அன் எண்ட் ஃபார் ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் அண்ட் வில் மூவ் ஆன் டு அதர் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ். ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் செக்டர்ஸ், ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் செக்டர்ஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய முக்கியமான பாயிண்ட்ஸ் மாத்திரம் பார்த்துருவோம் சார். Rajam Hospital has collected rupees 5 crore towards service to inpatients. It has, however, it has paid rupees 2 crore only to the medical consultant. Is the entire 5 crore exempt, sir? ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் 5 கோடி ரூபாய் கலெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ஆனா அதுல கன்சல்டன்ட் டாக்டர் அவங்க எம்ப்ளாயியே கிடையாது, வெளியில இருந்து இங்க கன்சல்டன்டா வந்திருக்காங்க, அவங்களுக்கு 2 கோடி கொடுத்தாங்க. அப்ப ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் சர்வீஸ் பண்ணல. Is it subject to GST? It is completely exempt, sir. So this unnecessary question is raised by the department, but it is straight away act is very clear. It is not subject to tax. It is completely exempt. And next, plastic surgeries, it is subject to tax. Hospitals, when they do cosmetic surgeries, plastic surgeries, it is taxable supply, not an exempted supply. And this is very important point, sir. It may be applicable for most of our individual doctors running a clinic. Mr. X, a medical practitioner runs a clinic but does not take RC since his services are exempt from GST. உடனே நமக்கு என்ன தோணும், ஐயோ அவருக்கு வந்து பார்மசி சேல்ஸ் இருக்கு, பார்மசி உள்ள வச்சிருக்காரு, அப்ப பார்மசி சேல்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆர்சி எடுக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிடலாம், ஆர்சியை வந்து அவர் ஒய்ஃப் மீன்ஸ் இல்ல பார்மசி வந்து ஒய்ஃப் பேர்ல போட்டுரும். இவர் தப்பிச்சுக்கலாமா அப்படின்னா ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாயிண்ட் சார். அந்த இடத்துல அவரோட கிளினிக் அவரோ பேர்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிய அவர் தன்னோட ஒய்ஃபுக்கு கொடுத்திருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னா ரெண்ட் வாங்காட்டாலும் ரூல் 28 படி இட் இஸ் அ டீம்டு சப்ளை. அப்ப டீம்டு சப்ளை அப்படிங்கிறப்ப அவருக்கு எக்ஸம்ப்டட் சப்ளை நிறைய இருந்தாலும் நீங்க 1 ரூபி ஓபன் மார்க்கெட் வேல்யூ போட்டாலும் அவரு ஆர்சி எடுத்து ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டணுங்கிற மாதிரி வந்துடும். அதே மாதிரி அவர் ஒரு கார் சேல்ஸ் பண்றாரு, இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒரு டாக்ஸபிள் சப்ளை இண்டிவிஜுவல் டாக்டரோட இன்கம்ல சேர்ந்துட்டாலே they may be subject to GST registration. Scan, diagnostic, இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் exemption இருக்கு. So let us not concentrate more on that. This is a important case. A registered person sells his diamond jewelry for rupees 2 lakhs. Is this liable to GST? நம்ம ஒரு பிசினஸ் பர்சனுக்கு டாக்ஸ் ஆடிட் ஃபைனலைஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம் சார். அவர் வந்து தன்னோட கோல்டு காயின் டைமண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சேல்ஸ் பண்ணிருக்காரு, அவருக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி ஆர்சி இருக்கு, இதுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டணுமா அவரு?
No sir.
When he has as a personal property, there is a clarification, he need not pay GST. When he has purchased அதான் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ல காமிச்சிட்டோம்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ல காமிச்சிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா then the intention to resell exist, GST will be applicable. Later, sir. And moreover, this point is also most of the tax audit claims when they exchange their car, for the exchange value GST is applicable. See, I have a Baleno car, I am purchasing a Honda WRV car. So 10 lakh rupees I purchase, I exchange my old car for rupees 4 lakh with the same dealer. So he will be charging for 10 lakhs GST, but GST is applicable for the 4 lakhs which I have exchanged to him. But of course, subject to notification number 8/2018. So I have to verify whether any margin exists, profit exists for the car which is exchanged, GST liability exists or not, we need to verify. Stock and capital goods given to retiring partner, whether liable to GST, we have already checked, it is very much subject to GST, very much GST is applicable. We have to pay GST whenever stock and capital goods are taken over by the retiring partner. Same case for partition of HF assets to members, it is subject to GST. An unregistered school sells its old buses after 10 years of its use for rupees 2 lakhs, whether liable to GST, obviously liable to GST, even though they don't have registration. When taxable supply, even a rupee is added to their income, it is aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs and they have to take registration and pay GST. Mr. X sells unbranded rice and charges freight cost in his invoice. Can he claim exemption for the freight charges too? Unbranded rice sale பண்றாரு, அதுல freight cost invoice ல add பண்றாரு. Freight க்கு அவர் tax கட்டணுமா சார்? கட்ட வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை, because it is a composite supply and freight is also treated as sale of your unbranded rice. No GST would be applicable for sale of unbranded rice. So the floor is now open for discussion, sir.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for the fantastic opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Your presentation with the illustrations are very, very useful, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Members, those who have any queries, they can unmute themselves and put their queries, or they can put it in their chat pack also. So, turnover discount given by supplier, whether they have to reverse credit, sir?
No, sir. Circular number 105 is withdrawn. Volume discount, turnover discount, whatever is given to the supplier received by the dealer is not subject to GST. Right? GST is not applicable. And the turnover discount given by the supplier,
Yes,
if
sir.
he wants to shelter up the GST, output tax, if he wants to reduce, he has to satisfy the conditions laid in section 15. என்ன பண்ணிருக்கணும் சார், ஏற்கனவே ஒர்க் ஆர்டர் மீன் பர்ச்சேஸ் ஆர்டர் அந்த டர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் பத்தி சொல்லிருக்கணும். He has to link the particular invoice to the credit note through which he gives a discount, and he has to ensure that the buyer has reversed input tax credit for the tax charged on the discount credit note. If these things are satisfied, he may reduce his output tax. And as far as from the buyer's point, for whether financial credit note is given or GST credit note is given, it is not a supply. It shall not be treated as supply. For the ground, I am saying this because withdrawal of that circular.
The buyer in those cases, their selling price is less than their cost.
Correct. Even then, sir, because your section 19 subsection 20 of VAT, sorry, and Pondicherry different VAT Act would be there. In Tamil Nadu TN VAT Act, no, many cases were even still pending for the discount. The same logic, the same law is not there in GST. Whenever you are selling below your cost, you need not reverse your input tax credit.
Right, sir. Okay. Okay, members, there is no other queries from the members, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sir,
Yeah, yes, sir.
I
Please.
have a query, sir.
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir.
Sir, when a dealer goes to another state for a business purpose,
Okay.
and he stays in a lodge there,
Okay.
the lodge issues bills with the CGST and the GST.
Okay.
Is it possible to avoid ITC?
No,
Yeah.
sir, not at all. Not at all possible.
Okay.
Because of the due consideration given to federalism by this GST, we are unable to take input tax credit of the tax charged in other states. Will not.
But is it possible to the lodge to issue IGST?
No, sir. If they give the several AR ruling is also there, sir. If they give IGST, it is an erroneous charge. First, they will be liable to pay the correct tax if it is detected by the department at a later point of time, and they will ask us to reverse the input tax credit also because it is a erroneous tax charged from the supplier end.
Okay, sir.
Because place of supply, obviously, location of immovable property, the state where it is located is the place of supply, and the location of supplier also in other state. Hence, they should have charged CGST and SGST, not the IGST.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And one query we see
This-
Thomas sir has posted. A
Yes.
private limited company running the business of Christian gospel telecasting. They collect GST and telecasting services. They are receiving offering from the television viewers. Is it taxable? They are receiving offerings from the television viewers. Okay. If this offering is in the nature of gift, and there is no precondition to view this program, if this offering is not linked to the program which is being telecast, then it is not a supply, sir. Because consideration is a must in scope of supply definition. Since you have used the word offering, I assume that this offering is not taking the cognizance of a consideration. Hence, it is not a supply. Not GST is not applicable, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the fantastic opportunity. Thank you, Prabhakaran sir. Thank you, Rajsekharan sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
madam.
you. Same to you. And it was a very lucid presentation covering all the aspects, sir. Thank you for a elaborate presentation, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Saravana, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, Saravana, sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And the speaker of the next session, that is issues in GST 9 and 9C, CA J. Balasubramanian sir has joined. We welcome you, sir. And before we go into the program, I request Secretary of Pondicherry branch to introduce the speaker to the members. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It gives me a great pleasure to introduce the second speaker of today's program, CA J. Balasubramanian. Mr. J. Balasubramanian is a triplet. He has 15 years of experience in the industry, which includes accounting, costing, audit, taxation, especially in the areas of service tax, MIS, reporting, project viability, and information technology. While his service in BSNL, he has represented before central excise authorities at various levels, namely adjudication, appeals, and tribunal, in respect of various service tax issues, and has won in many cases. He was awarded the Vasisht Sanchar Seva Padak, a gallantry award for significant achievement as best employee in the state comprising of 32,000 employees for the year 2013-14 by BSNL. Presently, he is practicing as a chartered accountant and a partner in BSL and Associates. His areas of specialization include value addition through indirect tax training, consulting, as well as litigation, business innovations through cost consulting and de-risking, value addition through internal audit and operations audit. He has passed certificate course on indirect tax conducted by ICAI. He is a faculty for GST approved by ICAI New Delhi. He has addressed chartered accountants on various topics in service tax and GST in Chennai and various branches of SIRC. He has addressed cost and management accountants and company secretary in Madurai chapter on various topics in service tax and GST. He has addressed more than 100 seminars for traders, manufacturers, service providers in various trade bodies, namely Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce, YES, CII, TAPMA, Plasma, on topics of service tax and GST. He has contributed towards updating of background material for service tax published by ICAI New Delhi. He has contributed in various publications of IDTC of ICAI, practical FAQs under GST and handbook on invoicing under GST. He has co-authored book on service tax for postgraduate diploma in service tax and VAT course published by Aragappa University, Karaikudi. He is a guest faculty in Madurai chapter of ICAI, Company Secretaries Cost Accounting Institute, Tyagaraja School of Management, Madurai, RL Institute of Management Studies, Madurai, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, Madurai College, for taking classes in the areas of financial management, costing, and service tax. He is one of the panel members for GST in Tamil Nadu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Madurai, and Tamil Nadu Spinning Mills Association, Madurai, Madurai Tiny Industries and Small Scale Industries Association. With these words of introduction, I welcome CAJ Balasubramanian to this program. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Very good afternoon to one and all who are attending this program. At the outset, I express my heartfelt thanks to the Pondicherry branch of SIRC of ICAI, Chairman, Secretary, and other office bearers for giving me this wonderful opportunity to discuss about the issues in GSTR 9 and 9C with all allied members of the Pondicherry branch of SIRC of ICAI. And I also once again thank the Secretary Madam for giving nice introduction. Now we are here to discuss about the issues in the GSTR 9 and 9C for the financial year 2020-21. The due date for filing the 9 and 9C falls on the 28th February. Extended due date falls on the 28th February 2021. At this juncture, this discussion is very much essential. Though almost 3 years we have prepared 9 and 9C, yes, we are quite thorough in various tables and classes in 9 and 9C. So I humbly request all the members, let it be an interactive session, because a lot of issues in this entire session we have planned in such a way that only class wise tables, how we have to disclose the figures as extracted from the GSTR 1 and 3B, and also from the financial, how the figures, both outward supply and the inward supply and the output tax and ITC related details, how we are going to fill it up and disclose with the in the 9 and 9C, to have not to call for any dispute with the department in the later part of time. And also we will be discussing some of the issues in each table, how it will be there. And we are having some set of 10 to 20 issues in outward supply, output tax, ITC, and also RCM related issues, which will be almost not applicable for exclusively for any sector, but also for all assessees here or there. They will be facing these problems that we are going to see as a issues or a case study that we will be discussing. First, initial our discussion will be on the classes, what all the tables are there in the 9 and 9C. That I will try to rush it off, because the reason is for the past 3 years we are quite well versed in the tables. So we will be directly entering after or half an hour, we will be directly entering into the issues or the case studies which we are now having, which all of us will be facing at the time of filling the tabulating the figures in the 9 and 9C, sir. Right.
Thank you,
Now, sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now, after up to 1920, a lot of craze was there for the chartered accountants as far as this 9 and 9C was there. Once an amendment came through Finance Act 2020-21, whereby subsection 5 of section 35 was removed. So there was a very big slug was there, because in 1920, when myself and Saravana Kumar sir, as both of them have addressed in many branches, and even in unorganized sector also we have addressed on this 9 and 9C. But once it became, it was omitted, or it was omitted from section from the Act. So we thought that our chartered accountants are not, it is not our bread and butter, sir. So I humbly submit it at this point of juncture. Even now, we are mainly practicing in GST, wherein we thought that a lot of our income will be reduced because of this amendment. That is a very big, huge amendment. Unless you have a statutory compliance, the client will not come and approach us. But we both of us really thought that it will be like that only. But practically, it is not so, sir. In many concerns where we did, they are approaching, they've asked us to continuously do the same compliance activities, irrespective of the fact that it was omitted or it was removed from the provisions. They want us to do the compliance. That is the real work of a chartered accountant. Even the industry or traders, if you are genuinely working on these things, we are having a good opportunity even now. And one additional point I want to submit here is, now again this GST area is becoming a niche area. How it was there pre-GST, when the service tax and excise was there, only some limited professionals were handling those things. VAT, excise and service tax, only limited professionals were handling that. In the same scenario, now it is slowly going to repeat. So I humbly submit before the members, those who are attending here, sir, this is, though statutorily we are not required to certify the reconciliation statement or the compliance activities, but still we have an exceptional scope in this area. A lot of amendments are continuously coming, sir. So because when we professionals are there, we are here to prove to the government that though it is not statutorily not required by a chartered accountant to certify a 9C or reconciliation statement, but still out of our own competence and potential in this subject matter, we are the trade bodies will come to us and we have to prove to that. And apart from that, sir, it is not to prove to anybody, but again, it's a very good revenue yielding area. So we have to concentrate. And many chartered accountants, the trade bodies are again giving 9 and 9C to the chartered accountants. So having understood this fact, having understood this importance, our branches are organized this, I hope so, sir. Now, by virtue of Finance Act 2021, Section 35, Subsection 5 was removed. Thereby, reconciliation statement in form number 9C is not required to be certified by a chartered accountant or a practicing cost accountant. Okay, but it was made as a suitable amendment was brought in Rule 80, Sub Rule 3, wherein a self-reconciliation statement is enough for the for compliance of or for filing of the 9C. So that GSTR 9 is an annual return which will be filed by the assessee, and 9C earlier it will be reconciled with the audited financials and will be certified by a chartered accountant and filed by the assessee. But now it will be a self-certified reconciliation. But apart from that, no change in 9C, sir. 9 and 9C, whatever thing which we have disclosed in 1819, 1920, the same thing prevails in 2021 also. All the tables remain same. All the disclosure requirements remains the same. Or even some classes which was optional, it also remains the same, except only one requirement when compared to the 1920 is table 6. In table 6 of GSTR 9, where we are required to disclose the ITC availed. Earlier, there is 3 classifications were there: ITC on inputs, ITC on input services, and ITC on capital goods. We were given an option to put it in inputs column itself. Now, for this financial year 2021, they have made it as mandatorily we have to disclose the ITC on capital goods separately. As far as inputs and input services are concerned, we can put it in inputs itself. But for capital goods, we have to separately disclose. Subject to this change, except this change, all other things remains the same, sir. Whatever thing was there in the 1920, whatever the requirement was there in the 1920, continues in the 2021 also. So one amendment is the chartered accountant need not certify. It is a self-certification of the management, and thereby in 9C, all tables remain same except the part 5, where the auditor's recommendation and certification was there. It was removed now. It is being removed now, so we need not fill it up that. And I will tell you, sir, though it is a recorded program, in last year and all, lot of senior members and members will be telling, sir, it's a very big headache when we are telling to our clients that these liabilities are there, they are not ready to file. So if unlike in tax audit, we cannot make qualifications here. We cannot say that stock registers are not properly produced to test and all. We cannot do here. That was a very big headache. Even some members were simply putting that whatever the qualification they gave in tax audit, Form 3CA or 3CB, they were repeating the same thing here also. So it should not be the case here also. So we should not do that. But now, since they have removed this requirement, now we have a very free hand. We are having, because we are not being statutorily bound, but morally and contractually we are bound with our clients, and we are here to educate them. So we have to tell them whatever the qualification. Earlier we had a restriction that sir நம்ம இங்க இருந்து மெயில் அனுப்பிட்டோம்னா அதுக்கப்புறம் 9C சைன் பண்ணோம்னா டாக்குமெண்ட் பண்ணலாமா அப்படி இப்படிலாம் இருக்கும். இப்போ now there is still, it is also there, but it is the risk of the client. We have to tell him all the provisions, okay, all the requirements. It is his call here whether he is accepting and paying. He is free, he will be free from the future litigations coming from the department. But if he is not agreeing, means it is his own risk. We have documented and we have reported to him. So it is to that extent we are being, we are free also from the mental agony, sir. We have to thank for this amendment. In that case, we have to thank this amendment. And as I have already told you, the due date of filing 9 and 9C is only 28th February 2022. And the reconciliation statement, part 5 is being removed, sir. That remains the same. Now, applicability of 9 and 9C. Sir, the same provisions for 1920 in 2021. If the aggregate turnover of a registered person, aggregate turnover means pan-India based turnover of a registered person during the financial year 2021 is up to 2 crore. 9 is optional. 9 is optional for him. If he is filing, it is well and good. Otherwise, it is optional for him. This was told, instructed in notification number 31/2021. And if for the registered person whose aggregate turnover is between 2 crore to 5 crores, then the filing 9 is mandatory, but 9C he need not file, sir. By virtue of Rule 80 sub Rule 3, he need not file 9C, but 9 he has to file for 2 crore to 5 crore. If the aggregate turnover of a registered person is more than 5 crore, then he has to file both 9 and 9C is mandatory. So up to 2 crore, 9 is optional. 2 to 5 crore, 9 is mandatory. Above 5 crore, 9 and 9C is mandatory. Right, sir. What are all the key reconciliations that we have to do before filing or before preparing the 9 and 9C? Key reconciliation, of course, in detail, Saravana Kumar sir would have dealt with the how we have to extract the GST related figures from the financials, audited financials, from the books of accounts. I am here from the annual return perspective. I want to, and the 9C perspective, I want to say some basic reconciliation. This all our members will be knowing that, sir. The first one is sales reconciliation. You reconcile the, we have to do the turnover reconciliation, sir. All income GLs put together, taxable value on a monthly basis, taxable value as per income GL, what is the amount? That you have to compare with the taxable, the value that was disclosed in GSTR 3B. On a monthly basis, we have to identify the difference. For sure, for all cases, a difference will be there. For example, some other income would not have been reported. Interest income in 95% of the case, they would not have reported. So that difference we have to identify. So then, and sale of fixed assets, it would have profit on sale of fixed asset would have been there in the other income schedule, but we would not have disclosed in the GSTR 3B. So all these differences will naturally be there. So basically we have to first do the turnover reconciliation and identify the difference of turnover in 3B, what we have disclosed and what is there in the books of accounts. So on the difference whether it is taxable or exempted or no supply அப்படின்னு classify பண்ணிக்கணும் சார். month wise நம்ம difference பார்த்து reconciliation போட்டு there is a template is available sir. If I want, I will also share with we will be sharing with the branch. So you have to do this reconciliation on a monthly basis. You have to identify the difference, turnover difference identify பண்ணி and the difference income, whether it pertains to a taxable income or exempted income or no supply, you have to classify and then only you have to proceed for a disclosure GSTR 9. Right. So apart from that, you have to do some ledger scrutiny to identify the income which is hidden in the expenses ledger. Sometimes we will be having the credit side of the expenses ledger. For example, automobile sector, they will be getting a lot of reimbursement expenses for the advertisement and marketing campaign they have done. So on the amount the credit side of the sales promotion, we have to disclose it. We have to take it to the income GL and we have to identify the difference. So we have to do a proper ledger scrutiny, not only in the profit and loss account heads, but also the balance sheet heads, wherein we have to identify the difference or the income which have not yet been disclosed, and the income identify panni the taxable or exempted and identify, we have to give the treatment, sir. After that, we have to do the output tax reconciliation on a monthly basis. We will be having this ledger in the current liability, output IGST, output CGST, output SGST. Sir. What we have to do, we have to sum up the credit side of the total, and in debit side, purchase return or discount something which affecting the through GST credit note if they have given, then that amount we have to take. So total side of the credit, net of the purchase return or discount what we have disclosed in the debit side, otherwise reduce pannite. So credit net of this debit, we have to take it every month. We have to calculate the whatever the output tax that you have as per the books. What is the output tax? Less output tax disclosed in GSTR 3B. Disclosed in GSTR 3B. This rendai reduce panikalam sir. Difference irundha we are supposed to pay. That reconciliation we have to do. Then similarly for ITC reconciliation we have to do on a monthly basis. Just output tax reconciliation பண்ணமோ அதே மாதிரி ITC reconciliationக்கு input CGST, input SGST, input IGST ledgerல debit side total, credit side la nama edavadhu purchase return irunduchina that we have to reduce it, and any discount we have received from our customer which are affecting our suppliers which are affecting, that also we have to reduce it, sir. So net path and the net debit you have to take on a monthly basis. You have to compare it with the GSTR 3B what you have disclosed. So difference in the ITC edukalama edukakudadangradha we will be seeing in the forthcoming slides. So that reconciliation you have to compare with books versus 3B. After that you have to do it for 3B versus 2A reconciliation is very much essential to fill the table 8 of GSTR 9. And HSN classification, though it is optional in GSTR 9, we have to do HSN classification. Kandipa panniya agano sir. That is very, very essential. You have to do the complete ledger scrutiny. We have to do a complete 360-degree view of financials. We have to analyze to identify what are all the GST affected transactions are hidden in the financials. We have to identify all RCM liability expenses. All RCM liability by virtue of section 9 subsection 3 read with notification number 13/2017 the sollapata transactions elladhukku RCM liability irukangradha identify pananum. I am not entering into the provision, sir, since the time given is very 1.5 hours is there. So our purpose here to see the disclosures alone. So I am not entering into the technicals which we are having. If the time permits, we are having some practical issues which is there in the last 10 slides are there. But before that, we will complete the disclosure. So RCM liability, what are all the reverse charge liability is there that we have to identify while doing the ledger scrutiny as far as expense ledgers are concerned. Similarly, fixed assets register we have to obtain from the financial books. So all, if in case of sale of fixed assets are there, we have to identify sale of fixed assets other than car treatment, Mr. Saravana Kumar sir would have told, so I'm not entering into that. So sale of fixed assets is also subject to GST that we have to see. And in the credit side of the expenses ledger, as I have pointed out, reimbursement of expenses இருக்கும். அதுக்கப்புறம் P&L headல இருக்க expense ledger எல்லாத்தையும் பார்க்கறப்ப ITC eligibility, அதாவது ineligible ITC or blocked ITC எடுத்துருக்கோமா 17.5 படி அது பார்க்கணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து common credit reversal. Common credit reversal வந்து if a registered person is dealing with both taxable and exempted supply, then by virtue of section 17 subsection 2 of the CGST Act, read with rule 42 and rule 43 of the CGST rules, common credit reversal would have been done. If they have not done it, we have to properly do it, and we have to inform our client to discharge the tax liability through DRC 03. So all these ledger scrutiny we have to do it, sir. So basically reconciliation பண்ணிடணும், taxable value turnover reconciliation பண்ணிடணும், output tax reconciliation பண்ணிடணும், ITC reconciliation பண்ணிடணும் சார். இதுல சார் இப்ப எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு டவுட் வரும், புக்ஸ்ல இருக்கிற ஃபிகரை GSTR 9ல காமிக்கணுமா, GSTR 3B ல நம்ம டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணதை GSTR 9ல காமிக்கணுமா, இல்ல GSTR 1ல டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ண ஃபிகரை we are supposed to disclose in GSTR 9. So this question will be there, sir. In our considered and humble view, whatever the outward tax liability discharge or made during the financial year 2021 has to be disclosed in table 4 and 5 of GSTR 9. So GSTR 9 பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் outward taxable liability பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் 9ல எதை காமிக்கணும்னா என்ன outward supply பண்ணோமோ அந்த outward supply value plus அதோட corresponding tax amount we are supposed to disclose in table 4 and table 5 of GSTR 9. So that is very, very, very important. As far as inward supply, that is ITC is concerned, whatever you have disclosed in GSTR 3B, we have to disclose as such in table 6, table 7 of the GSTR 9. So ITC பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் garbage in garbage out என்ன நீங்க disclose பண்ணீங்களோ 3B ல அதத்தான் அப்படியே 9ல காமிக்கணும் சார். அது ஆட்டோ பாப்புலேட் ஆகி வந்திருக்கு. only bifurcation we are supposed to do it. As far as outward supply is concerned, whatever the supply that you have done, we are supposed to disclose it, right sir? We will be seeing this circular 26 adjustments in later on, sir. Next, so these are all, we have 19 tables, 6 parts, 19 tables are there. This is the blueprint of GSTR 9. We have 6 parts. Part 1 is containing the basic information, GST number, legal name and trade name. Part 2 comprises of 2 tables, table 4 and table 5. So table part 2 we are supposed to disclose the outward supply made during the financial year 2021 and their corresponding tax liability we are supposed to disclose. As far as part 3 is concerned, it deals with input tax credit. All disclosures with respect to input tax credit has to be disclosed in table 6 to table 8. Table 6 la ITC availed we have to disclose with the bifurcation, with the categorization of inputs, input services and capital goods. And table 7 deals with the reversal of input tax credit. Table 8 deals with the matching of the ITC availed in 3B with that of the 2A, whatever that you have got out of operated table 2A. That is table part 3. Part 4 contains the tax paid details. So table 9 of GSTR 9, wherein it comprises of the tax payable, turnover of the tax payable and the tax payable amount and whatever the tax paid that you have to disclose in the table 9 of GSTR 9. And part 5 comprises of circular 26 adjustment. What is this circular 26 adjustments? I will tell you, sir. Sir, it comprises of 4 tables, table 10 to table 14. 5 tables are there. Table 10 to table 14 is there. So whatever the turnover, if in the financial year 2021, if we have omitted to show any turnover done or we have outward supply done during the financial year 2021, omitted to be disclosed in GSTR 3B, but disclosed in the subsequent financial year between April to September, then those disclosures has to be done here. We will be seeing in detail, sir. Will be applicable both for outward supply as well as ITC. That we will be seeing in detail in the forthcoming slides. And part 6 is the other information which comprises of table 15 to table 19, which says about the details of the refund claimed or composition supplies, job work related information, and HSN code of inward supply and HSN code of outward supply. For convenience sake, table 15 to 19, since being optional for this financial year, we are not discussing on those areas. So table 15 and 19, as far as 9 is concerned, optional, sir. Now coming to the 9C, this is having 5 parts. 5th part is being omitted by virtue of the amendment in the Finance Act. Auditor recommendation and certification is not required, but other 4 parts remain same. The same 9C form, sir. Only part 5 is not there, sir. So part 1, again, the basic information is there, and part 2, the outward tax liability, table 5 to table 8 comprises of the table 5 comprises of the reconciliation of the gross turnover with the audited financials. The turnover disclosed in the GSTR 9 compared with turnover disclosed in the audited financials. Table 7 comprises the reconciliation of the taxable turnover, and part 3 comprises of table 9 to 11. Table 9 we will be disclosing a rate-wise reconciliation of output tax, both for outward supply and also for the reverse charge liability. Part 4 ITC is there, sir. Table 12 to table 16 is there. So in the ellame adhe disclosures, sir. Now we are moving to the issues and also the some tables and faster path to sir. Enna disclosures irukena adukapra we will be going to the issues, sir, as such. Sir, one small request, sir. If the members are thorough in these tables, can I directly first due to the paucity of the issues, the tables and disclosures ellarum members ku konja thorough irunduchina, sir, can I directly move to the issues and then come again, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the over class solla venalla, sir. First
yes,
I will
sir. Yes, sir. You can go with the issues, sir.
Issues, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Since this is being a virtual program, sir, we could not have the eye contact. There is a very big handicap of the virtual program, sir.
Yes, sir. And if there are any doubts, members can always unmute and they
Sure,
can...
sir. Sure, sir.
Yes,
So now we will see, sir. So as I have pointed out in table 4, I will rush it off and I will come here, sir. So table 4 table 4 of GSTR 9, it deals with the outward supply made during the financial year, that is 2021, and the corresponding tax, whatever the correct outward supply made, irrespective what is being disclosed in books or 1 or 3B, we have to disclose the correct turnover of the outward supply done. So on various classification is there, B2C, B2B, zero rated supply, and all classifications are there that you can extract from GSTR 1, which time permits, I will tell you in the later part of the slide, sir. So this is about table 4, outward supply and corresponding tax minus the credit note with respect to outward supply. We have to reduce it, and in table 4N, we will be arriving at the total gross taxable outward supply and the corresponding tax amount. So table 4N, we will be getting the total taxable outward supply and the corresponding tax. And the table 5 is concerned the outward supply which is exempted or for which tax is not required to be paid. For example, zero rated supply done without payment of tax, supply to SEZ, and supplies on which the recipient is liable to pay. For example, I am a GTA, I am filing GSTR 9 for my outward supply, I need not pay tax. Only my recipient is liable to pay tax. So as far as that supply is concerned, it is exempted in my hands. So that we have to disclose in table 5, and other exempted, nil rated, and no supply, non-GST supply, everything we have to disclose in table 5. So table 4 is taxable outward supply. Table 5 is outward supply which will not attract tax, output tax, right, sir? Table 9 comprises of the tax payable. The table column 2 of table 9 is an editable column. We have to fill up this figure. This figure has to match with the But it will be automatically coming from the table 4 and 4. But the tax payable is the actual tax payable amount which will be coming here, and this that tax amount, whether it is paid through cash and paid through ITC. This is the table 3, column 3 of table 9 to column 7 of table 9 are auto-populated figures, sir. It will auto-populated from the GSTR 3B summary, so we cannot alter it. So naturally, for a correct organization, table 9 should get tallied. Unless he is not having any reconciliation or carry forward transaction. But for 99% of the organization, table 9 will not match. Why? Because we'll be seeing in the forthcoming slides, sir. And any overlapping is there, any turnover which you are disclosing in the subsequent financial year. For example, for the supply done during April 22, March 21, we have disclosed in the GSTR 3B of July 21. Then that supply we have to disclose in table 10. And in case of any credit note is there, we have disclosed in the subsequent financial year, April to September, by virtue of section 37, 38, and 37 and 39 of CGST Act, read with circular 26/2017. Then that overlapping figures we have to disclose in table 10 and table 11, sir. And table 12 and 13 deals with the ITC of 2021 availed in the April 21 to September 21. Then we have to disclose in table 13, sir. Reversal of ITC of 2021 done in the April 21 to September 21, we have to show it in the table 12 of 9. So this is the significant and important tables for which we are going to see the issues. For any additional outward tax, outward supply which you have shown in table 10. So table 10 la edhukku kaamichirukoma adukana tax katta vendiyadhu irunduchina adha table 14 la payable potu paid in potu close pannidonu, sir. So that is very, very important. So for this we will be seeing the issues now, right, sir? Now I'm asking this question, sir. Transaction, sir, one small humble request, sir. If the members are interested, they can answer in the chat box. This is the issues. I'm having the answers in the forthcoming slides. To make it as an interactive session, I request the members to, if possible, to answer in the chat box, sir. Right. Transaction of 2021 reported in 2021 itself, sir. There is a 3 crore turnover. 3 crore turnover is there. 18% GST is there. So 54 lakhs. I have reported in 2021 3B only may காமிச்சிட்டேன். அப்ப 9ல அது எங்க சார் டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணணும்? So I will be disclosing in table 4 alone. நான் எங்க டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணணும்? table 4ல மட்டும் தான் டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணணும். So 2021ல பண்ண 3 crore turnover, அதோட tax 54 lakhs. நான் 3B 2லயுமே நான் வந்து within 2021லயே காமிச்சிட்டேன். So automatically in 9ல நான் table 4ல மட்டும் டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா போதும். Right. Table 4லயும் table 9லயும் disclose பண்ணேன்னா tally ஆயிடும், sir. Now, in case of transaction of 2021 reported in 21-22, reported in 21-22, where I have to disclose, sir. For example, 3 crore turnover la 2 crore I have disclosed. Sir, kindly listen. 2 crore I have disclosed in the 3B and 1 of 2021 le disclose பண்ணிட்டேன். 2 crore 36 lakhs, sir. But balance 1 crore, though that supply was done within 2021, but 1 crore I have disclosed in the 3B and 1 of April 21. So 1 crore April 21 la disclose பண்ணி tax வந்து I have paid in GSTR 3B of April 21 la pay பண்ணிருக்கேன், sir. 1 crore 18 lakhs. இப்ப இந்த transaction how I have to disclose, sir? I request the members to answer. Again, I tell you, sir, out of total turnover 3 crore, 2 crore 2021 லயே நான் disclose பண்ணிட்டேன். tax அந்த இயரே கட்டிட்டேன். balance 1 crore So I request the members how I have to disclose this 3 crore and the total tax 54 lakhs in GSTR 9. I request members, sir. such a humble request, sir, because the
Yes, sir.
members, if they are two
Table
days, issues just I'm asking, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a very normal disclosure for all. This type of issue will be there almost in 95% of the cases. It will be there. So chairman sir, chairman sir answer பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Table 4 2 crore, table 10 1 crore. Super sir. Table 4 2 crore, table 10 1 crore. Thanks a lot, sir. So we have to disclose in table 4 2 crores tax amount 36 lakhs. Table 10 1 crore tax amount 18 lakhs we can disclose, sir. Right. And table 14 we have to put this 18 lakhs payable and paid 18 lakhs in put it. Table 14 disclose பண்ணி close பண்ணிட்டோம். 9C பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எந்த டிஸ்க்ளோஷரும் தேவையில்லை. ஏன்னா நமக்கு வந்து 9C பொறுத்த ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலா இந்த ரெண்டு டர்னோவர் 2 crore plus 1 crore சேர்ந்து டேபிள் 5Q of 9C ல ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா வந்துடும் சார். ஒரு இஷ்யூ இருக்கு. நெக்ஸ்ட், transactions of 2021 not yet reported in 3B and 1. சார் இதுல அசசி என்ன பண்ணிட்டாரு, கிளையண்ட் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாருன்னா 3 crore டர்னோவர்ல 2 crore 2021ல டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரு. 1 crore he has not yet disclosed. Only in audited financials it is there. Now we are identifying that this 1 crore is there, but he has not disclosed in 21-22. இப்போ வரைக்குமே ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணல. இதை எப்படி சார் டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணணும்? He has not done it. He has not disclosed this, sir. Sir, I'm again telling 3 crore turnover 2 crore 2021 லே காமிச்சு முடிச்சிட்டாரு, but 1 crore he has not disclosed now. How it has to be done, sir? Right, sir. I will tell, because the members are quite silent. I will be telling this thing, sir. Sir, what I have told in table 4 of GSTR 9, table 4 of GSTR 9, whatever the outward supply made during the financial year, we are supposed to disclose. As such, whatever the turnover we have done, 3 crore is the turnover which we have done during the financial year. So we have to disclose entire 3 crore in the table 4, in table 4 of GSTR 9. But table 9 table 4 3 crore போட்டுருவோம், automatically tax amount 54 lakhs வந்துரும். table 9 of GSTR 9 payable 54 lakhs இருக்கும். ஆனா paid எவ்வளவு சார் இருக்கும்? Only 36 lakhs will be there. Difference we are supposed to pay through DRC 03. Through DRC 03 we are supposed to pay along with interest. That is very, very, very important, sir. So this reconciliation we are supposed to do it. So hopefully the members will be understanding this, sir. Right. Now I am asking the another question, sir. Transaction of 1920 reported in 2021. FD, sir. Transaction of 1920 reported in 2021. How we are supposed to disclose? Sir, 1920 oda turnover நான் வந்து 2021 3B disclose பண்ணிருக்கேன். அப்ப என்ன பண்ணிருக்கணும்? I will show you the answer oda disclose பண்ணிறேன், sir. So 1920 oda turnover I am disclosing in the 2021. இப்ப நான் 2021 GSTR 9 I am preparing. What to do, sir? Sir, as far as 2021 is concerned, again, though in GSTR 3B and 1 you would have disclosed the outward supply, but 2021 table 4 வந்து நீங்க disclose பண்ணக்கூடாது. Table 4 of GSTR 9 for 2021 you should not disclose this turnover. Then how it will be? It will be as a excess tax in table 9. ஏன்னா payable கம்மியா இருக்கும். For example, இந்த year turnover 3 crore தான், ஆனா நம்ம 3B படி 3.5 crores வந்து நம்ம பே பண்ணிருக்கோம். 3.5 crores பே பண்ணிருக்கோம். அதுல 50 lakhs வந்து 1920 ஓட ஓவர்லாப்பிங் நம்ம 2021 டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம். அப்ப அந்த 50 lakhக்கு 18% 9 lakh we would have paid. But when coming to 2021 table 4 we are not supposed to disclose that 50 lakh. What we have to do, we have to disclose only in table 4 3 crore மட்டும் தான் disclose பண்ணனும். அப்ப table 9 வந்து என்ன இருக்கும்? Payable வந்து 54 lakhs இருக்கும், ஆனா paid வந்து 63 lakhs இருக்கும். 63 lakhs வந்து இருக்கும், sir. So for that reporting comments you do it in the table 10 of 9C. It's not compulsory. For a better compliance you can do that, sir. For better compliance you can do that. Next, sir. transaction of 2019-20 not reported in 1920 and 2021 but paid in 21-22 through DRC 03. Sir, 1920 oda transaction நீங்க 1920 லயே டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணல, 2021 லயே டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணல. ஆனா 21-22 ல த்ரூ டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் வந்து ASMT 10 அனுப்பி இருக்கலாம். அதை பார்த்து நீங்க பே பண்ணிருந்தீங்கன்னா அந்த ஃபிகரை DRC 03 மூலமா கட்ட ஃபிகரை அந்த அவுட்புட் டாக்ஸை you are not required to disclose in 9 and 9C சார். ரெண்டுலயுமே டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியம் கிடையாது. அடுத்தது 1920 transaction not reported in 1920, 2021, 21-21 and not yet paid. What to do, sir? 1920 outward supply you have not reported in 1920, 2021 and 21-22. இப்போ வரையும் பண்ணல. ஆனா now you are filing for which year returns are 2021. So 2021 க்கு 1920 ஓட outward supply liability இங்க disclose பண்ணனும் அவசியம் இல்ல. We can tell the clients independently that the boss there is a liability, kindly pay through DRC 03 to avoid consequences. So that we can take. Tell sir. After the transaction of 21-22 reported in GSTR 3B of 2021. Sir, transaction of 21-22 oda transaction 2021 la report பண்ணிருக்கோம். எந்த கான்டெக்ஸ்ட்ல சார் பண்ணிருப்போம்? Generally in case of advances received பண்ணியிருந்தோம்னா in case of supply of services, service sector பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் when the time of supply will arise immediately on the receipt of advance. So once advance வாங்கி இருந்தோம்னாலே we are liable to pay tax. So என்ன பண்ணிருப்போம், but invoice ரைஸ் பண்ணல, but what we have received the tax. So we are liable to discharge the tax since we have received the advance also. So where we have to disclose, this has to be disclosed in table 4F of GSTR 9. Table 4F of GSTR 9 like disclose பண்ணிட்டு table 5C of 9C la we have to disclose the difference. That is very important, sir. Next. So this example I will ask you, sir. Transaction value in 2021 1 lakh rupees, sir. Tax paid வந்து 18,000 rupees. ஆனா 12,000 பதிலா instead of 12% tax we have paid 18% tax. So excess tax we have paid. How we are supposed to disclose? Taxable value correct, but wrong tax rate has been selected, sir. Wrong tax rate has been selected. How to disclose this, sir? So what we have to do, correct tax is 12,000 only. Disclose the correct tax in the table 4 of GSTR 9. Okay, 2021 table 4 of GSTR 9 disclose பண்ணிட்டு what with the as far as table 9 is concerned, it will be like the excess will be there. So that we have to see whether it is being adjusted in the subsequent financial. Adjust பண்ணலனா அது வந்து excess ஆ தான் table 9 of GSTR 9 இருக்கும். That we have to apply as a refund and we have to disclose it. And in 9C also we have to show it as a reconciliation difference. Now, sir. So this you would have come across in various cases, sir. Sir, interstate transaction liable for IGST but wrongly reported as CGST, SGST. நீங்க 3B file பண்றப்ப 1 lakh rupees interstate supplier wrong intrastate supplier காமிச்சிட்டீங்க, CGST, SGST pay பண்ணிட்டீங்க. But the correct tax is only IGST. How to correct in GSTR 9? Sir, by virtue of section 77 of CGST Act read with section 19 of IGST Act, if an intrastate supply is treated as an interstate supply or interstate supply is treated as an intrastate supply, whenever you are identifying in the later point of time, what the lawmaker has told is you pay the correct tax. If it is an interstate supply, pay interstate supply and get the refund of wrongly paid tax. But for getting the refund of wrongly paid tax, we are having only 2 years time limit is there. 2 years as a time limit. But now what they have told, when you are identifying that from that date when you are paying the correct tax, in the example of the IGST da correct tax, அப்ப IGST tax நம்ம pay பண்ணிட்டோம்னா அதுல இருந்து 2 years we can get the refund of the wrongly paid CGST and SGST. But as far as the disclosure in GSTR 9 is concerned, how we have to do is you put the correct classification. Table 4 la வந்து 1 lakh வந்து taxable value, IGST ல 18,000 போட்டுருங்க. IGST ல 18,000 fill up பண்ணிடுங்க. ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா table 9 வரும் பொழுது பேபிளுக்கும் பெய்டுக்கும் ஐஜிஎஸ்டிக்கு சிஜிஎஸ்டிக்கு டிஃபரன்ஸ் வராது. ஸோ யூ கரெக்ட்லி டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் தட் thing. And if the IGST seems to be payable, you pay and you through DRC 03, and for CGST GST we have to get it as refund, but interest liability will not be there. Interest liability will not be there. So this is, for example, some of the issues in the outward supply set which will be applicable for all assessees, which is applicable for all assessees. As far as ITC is RCM transactions are concerned, for RCM transaction, very important press release which was issued in 3rd July 2019. RCM liability பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் என்ன சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா, எந்த இயர்ல RCM பே பண்ணி ITC எடுக்கறாங்களோ, எந்த இயர்ல RCM பே பண்றாங்களோ அந்த இயர்லயே liability-யா காமிச்சிடுங்கன்னு they have told in the press release. Para G of press release issued in 3rd July 2019. They have exclusively issued the press release guidance for the filing of 9 and 9C. அதுல ரொம்ப தெளிவா சொல்லிட்டாங்க. என்ன சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா, you disclose in the financial year, எந்த financial yearல அந்த RCM liability pay பண்ணிருக்காங்களோ அந்த financial yearலயே நீங்க disclose பண்ணா போதும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க சார். So as such, transaction of 2021 reported in 2021, no issue. You can disclose in table 4G. Problemé கிடையாது சார். Table 4G ல 2021ல நம்ம பே பண்ணது 3B ல 2021ல காமிச்சிருக்கோம்னா அப்படியே டேபிள் 3.1D of GSTR 3B சம்மரியில எடுத்து இங்க டேபிள் 4G ல fill up பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார். 9C பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் டேபிள் 9ல of 9C ல ரேட் வைஸ்ல கிளாசிஃபை பண்ணி 5% 18% 12% கிளாசிஃபை பண்ணி we can disclose. Transactions of 2021, RCM related transactions of 2021 reported in 21-22. Sir, I am telling RCM transactions of 2021. Sir, ஒரு GTA இருக்கு ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ்ல பே பண்ண வேண்டி இருந்தது மார்ச் 2021ல. பட் மார்ச் 21 3B ல அவங்க பே பண்ணல. அவங்க பே பண்ணது மே 21 3B ல பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அப்ப எப்படி டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்றதுன்னா 2021ஓட 9ல May 21 la pay panna RCM liability, though it may be a RCM liability pertaining to 2021, but since you are paid in May 21, you need not disclose that in 2021 going by the para G of press release issued by the board. So that is very important. So in the year la pay pandromo and the year la disclose panna podu sir. Next, sir, transaction RCM related transaction of 2021 not yet reported. 3B la pay பண்ணவே கிடையாது. So RCM liability இருந்திருக்கு, நம்ம 3B ல pay பண்ணல. அப்ப எங்க disclose பண்றது? We have to disclose in 4G. இப்ப வரைக்கும் pay பண்ணல. Subsequent financial year la pay பண்ணிருந்தாங்க இல்ல முந்தின financial year la pay பண்ணிருந்தாங்கன்னா பிரச்சனை இல்ல சார். Subsequent financial year la pay பண்ணலனா இப்ப வரைக்கும் நம்ம ஃபைல் பண்ற வரைக்கும் அதை pay பண்ணலனா we are bound to disclose that amount in the table 4G of GSTR 9. So table 4G la disclose pantomna automatically tax payable will come in the table 9. So automatically we have to discharge the tax liability through DRC 03. So என்னென்னல RCM liability நம்ம வந்து pay பண்ணலையோ அதெல்லாத்தையும் we are supposed to disclose in the table 9 and we have to pay through DRC 03. Next, 1920 oda RCM liability we have paid in 2021. For example, March 20 oda RCM liability we have discharged in June 20. So whether we have to disclose in this 9 since by going by the para G of press release dated 3rd July 2019, we are supposed to disclose in 2021. நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுங்க சார், முந்தின வருஷத்தோட 1920 ஓட RCM liability subsequent financial year ல பே பண்ணிருக்காருன்னா அந்த within 6 months பே பண்ணிருக்காரு, we are supposed to disclose in the current thing itself. So RCM liability பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எந்த இயர்ல அந்த சப்ளை when the supply was happened, you need not bother sir. You are bothered about when it was the liability was discharged in that financial year. GSTR 9 we are supposed to disclose in table 4G and table 9, right sir? Transaction RCM transaction of 1920 not reported in 1920 and 2021 but paid in through DRC 03 in 21-22. Again, this also I am telling you have to disclose only in the 21-22 GSTR 9 table 4G and table 9 of 9C. That we very important. So in the year la pay pandromo and the year la we are supposed to disclose sir. Sir, 1920 oda RCM liability. Now you are identifying, fortunately, you are identifying, though you are not perusing the documents of 1920, but while verifying the records of 2021, you are identifying the documents of 1920 liability. இப்போ வரைக்கும் பே பண்ணலன்னா இங்க 2021ல டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ண வேண்டியதில்ல, பட் யூ ஹேவ் டு டெல் தி அட்வைஸ் த கிளையன்ட் டு பே த்ரூ DRC 03. ரைட் சார். Now ITC related disclosures. ITC related disclosures பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் table 6 and table 7, table 6, 7 and 8 we are supposed to disclose. Table 6 பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் table 6A auto populate ஆகி வந்துரும் சார். GSTR 3B இல்ல இருக்கிற table 4A of GSTR 3B will auto populated and we will come here. 6B ல வந்து நம்ம all other ITC யோட breakup inputs, capital goods, input services மூணை பிரிச்சு போடணும் சார். அதுல இந்த financial year, for example, for financial year 2021 1920 வரைக்கும், if you are not able to bifurcate inputs, capital goods and input services, we can put it in toto in inputs. But for this financial year, capital goods ஐயும் தனியா ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ண சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. கேபிட்டல் குட்ஸை தனியா ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணி டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இன்புட் அண்ட் இன்புட் சர்வீசஸை நீங்க டோட்டலாவும் பொறுத்துக்கலாம், பைஃபர்கேட் பண்ணி காமிக்கிறாலும் காமிச்சிக்கலாம் சார். இதே தான் ஆர்சிஎம் லைபிலிட்டியா இருந்தாலும் அன்ரிஜிஸ்டர்ட் இருந்து வர்றதுனால வரக்கூடிய ஆர்சிஎம் லைபிலிட்டி, ரிஜிஸ்டர்ட் இருந்து வரக்கூடிய ஆர்சிஎம் லைபிலிட்டி we have to classify and we have to disclose on SEZ, import of services through SEZ, and import of goods, import of services. All these things we are supposed to disclose in table 6. Table 6 exhibits the ITC availed during the financial year. Right, sir. Sir, all this data you can extract from the GST or 3B summary extract panikalam, sir, as far as ITC is concerned. Sir, again, as far as ITC is concerned, I will tell you it is only a garbage in, garbage out. Whatever thing you have already disclosed in GSTR 3B, disclose as it is. Don't make correction. I will tell you when issues are coming, I will tell you, don't make any correction. It is a garbage in, garbage out, going by the instructions given attached to GSTR 9 and also based on the guidance note issued by the IDTC of ICAI. As far as ITC is concerned, outward supply பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் whatever the outward correct outward supply we can edit and we can alter. But for ITC is concerned, we cannot edit. Whatever garbage in, garbage out, we have to disclose as such. It is not in an editable format, right, sir? And that you have to take it from the GSTR 3B summary, we have to take it as such, sir. Right. If any ITC, for example, ITC during the financial year 2021, we are going by section 16, subsection 4 of the CGSTR, the time limit for availing that ITC or time limit for altering the ITC lies available in the law up to the due date of filing this September month return of the subsequent financial year. Thereby, April 21 to September 21, whatever the adjustment, either the positive adjustment of availment of ITC or negative adjustment of reversal of ITC, whatever the thing which we have done, we are supposed to disclose in the table 12. As far as the reversal of ITC is concerned, table 13, as far as ITC availed is concerned, we have to disclose in these tables 12 and 13. But 12 and 13 is optional, but it's my humble request is for the members to fill it up so that it will be helpful for us to fill the table 12 of 9C. Right, sir, that is very important. Now table 7 is concerned, a reversal is there, sir. We are having various forms of reversal as per rule 37, 39, 42, 43. 37 is the 180 days. If you are not making a payment within 180 days from the date of the invoice, we are supposed to reverse going by the second provision to section 16(2), along with interest we are supposed to reverse. So on the reversal காமிச்சிருந்தோம்னா அதை இங்க காமிக்கணும். 39 as far as excess availment through ISD, that reversal we are supposed to disclose. Rule 42 reversal for common credit reversal, we have to show it. And the common credit reversal with respect to capital goods, rule 43 la disclose பண்ணனும். 17(5) ineligible ITC, blocked ITC இருந்தா we are supposed we are reversed on account of blocked ITC, that we have to disclose here. But for this financial year 2021, for convenience sake, they have told that for all reversal from 7A to 7H, you need not independently disclose. Instead, you can disclose as a other reversal total kamcha podu, sir. Table 7H1 la kamcha, it is well and good, it is enough. It is optional that you have to fill all other tables. This is the status quo of the as far as financial year 2021 is concerned, sir. Now coming to the table 8, table 8, filling up the table 8 is very much essential, sir. Very, very essential is table 8 is there. ITC as per 2A, you have to take it. Okay. So whatever the ITC in 6B and 6H is there, it will be mandated. So table 8A, 2A on the ITC, auto populate. Sir. As far as 8B is concerned, 6B and H all other ITC. So 8C, whatever the ITC that you have availed in the subsequent financial year between April 21 to September 21, we are supposed to disclose in 8C. So difference should naturally tally, but 99.9% it will not tally. The difference may be, what could be the reason? Sir, I have bought a car, motor car, which I am not eligible to avail ITC going by section 17, subsection 5, class A of the CGST Act. So, but since I being a registered person, my supplier would have auto populated in 2A. It will be there in 8A, but I am not supposed to avail it. Where you have to classify? You have to classify in ITC available but ineligible. Here you have to classify. So this reconciliation 3B versus a 2A reconciliation is there, and one member has asked a clarification regarding 2B, which we will be dealing in detail, sir. In the question and answer session, I will tell you, or at the time of dealing the issues, I will be telling you, sir. So this 3B versus 2A reconciliation, we have to do it. Then only we have to disclose it. If in certain cases you may not able to fill this figure, said all other figures are auto populated, you can in the same press release they have told that if you want, you can attach a table 8 of GSTR 9 சொல்லி ஒரு table or a reconciliation statement prepare பண்ணி 9C ல ஒரு attachment we can do it, sir. That we are doing for all our clients since last year. This year also we are doing for all clients. Lot of permutation combinations are there to fill up this table. The lawmaker has given only the restricted columns here, which will not be able to do it. So for this, a separate reconciliation statement, if we are honestly want to do for big clients, we have to do it and make it as an attachment in the 9C. 9C la table 8 of GSTR 9 ஒரு workings போட்டு reconciliation பண்ணி அது attachment வைக்கிறது. It's a healthy governance activity, sir. Right. As far as 9C is concerned, you will be this will be table 12A in 9C will be containing the ITC availed as per the audited financial statement. This is nothing but the total of the debit side of the input tax ledger in the books of accounts. Input tax ledger in the books of accounts, sir. Total panni that we have to show it in the 12A, sir. And from that you have to add the ITC booked in earlier financial years but claimed in the current financial year. And if it is booked in the current financial year, availed in the subsequent financial year, you have to reduce it and you have to match with the table 7J table 7J of the GSTR 9 ITC we will be tallying, sir. And table 14 expense wise classification of ITC eligible ineligible and distinguish pandrathu, it is since now it is only optional, table 14. But if you are really want to bifurcate between eligible and ineligible ITC, we can disclose here. So table 16 speaks about the additional 16 of 9C speaks about the unreconciled ITC and additional liability. Now I will pose questions to the members, sir. Transaction ITC of 2021 reported in 2021 itself, where we have to disclose, sir, it will be automatically coming in the table 6. No issue at all. No issue at all. Okay, so automatically you have to classify the ITC between input services and capital goods. Update disclose panna podum. So 2021 ITC நம்ம 2021 3B லே காமிச்சிட்டோம்னா ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இல்ல, ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா ஆட்டோ பாப்புலேட்டட் டேபிள் 6ல வந்துரும், சார். நோ இஷ்யூ அட் ஆல். நவ நெக்ஸ்ட் क्वेश्चन, டேபிள் ITC ஆஃப் 2021 ரிப்போர்ட்டட் இன் 21-22 என்ன சார் பண்ணணும்? ITC of 2021, for example, March 20 ல ஒரு ITC we have availed in the June March 21 or ITC we have availed in July 21. Where we have to disclose, sir? Where we have to disclose, sir? March 21 la or 1 lakh rupees IGST ITC I have availed in the July 21 GSTR 3B. But 9 of GSTR 9 of 2021 la where I have to disclose this figure 1 lakh rupees. Whether disclosure is there or not, sir?
Yes, sir.
Whether disclosure is there, sir? Where, sir, we have to disclose, sir?
Table 13.
Table 13. Table 13 of GSTR 9 we are supposed to disclose, sir. And also we have to disclose in the table 12C of 9C, because we have availed in the subsequent financial year. We have to show it in the table 12C of 9C, sir. Right, sir. Transaction of 2021 not yet reported, sir. Can we now report and avail that ITC, sir? Sir, 2021 ITC நம்ம எடுக்கவே இல்ல, 3B ல சொல்லவே இல்ல. Whether 9 ல நம்ம ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணணுமா வேணாமா, sir?
Unavailed ITC.
Unavailed, sir.
Yes, sir.
Unavailed ITC. Whether we can disclose it and whether we can avail, sir?
No, we cannot avail, but we have to disclose.
We have to disclose. We cannot avail, but we have to disclose. Right, sir. So we have to disclose. Naturally, we have to disclose in the table 8 of GSTR 9. ஏன்னா 2A auto populate table 6 and 7 நீங்க disclose பண்ண தேவையில்லை, பண்ணவும் முடியாது, sir. But in table 8 to match with the 2A, what you have to do it is the difference we can classify is ITC available but not avail. That we have to disclose, sir. That is very important as far as, but through 9 and 9C we cannot avail ITC. That is very, very important, sir. We cannot avail ITC. Right. Transactions of 2019-20 reported in 2021 3B, sir. Transaction of 19-20 reported in 2021 3B. How to handle it in 9 of 2021? Sir, I will again tell you, sir. As far as 19-20 order, 2021 3B la kaamichirundhomna table 6 of GSTR 9 of 2021 la adu update disclose agum, sir. That we have to disclose as such. We will be disclosing as such. So we cannot make any change. 9C la vandu earlier year oda in the year eduthirkom solli we will be disclosing there in 12B. 12B la report pannidum of 9C, and here it will be reported in table 6 so that it will get matched, sir. Sir, 19-20 not reported in 19-20 and 2021, but whether we can avail in 21-22, not at all possible, sir. We cannot do it. We cannot do it. So I will go to the last issue, sir. ITC availed as IGST instead of CGST, SGST. If mistake is on the part of the supplier or recipient. Practically, நம்ம நிறைய கேஸ் பார்க்கிறோம், sir. அதுல பார்த்திருக்கீங்கன்னா, இப்ப லாஸ்ட் இதுல கூட ஒரு மெம்பர் சார் ராஜசேகரன் சார் வாஸ் ஆஸ்கிங் a question, சார் அதர் ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்து நாங்க வந்து சர்வீசஸ் ரிசீவ் பண்றோம், பட் அந்த ஸ்டேட்டோட ரெண்டிங் ஆஃப் இமூவபிள் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி சர்வீஸ் இல்ல அகாமடேஷன் சர்வீஸ், ரைட்டா? அவர் என்ன பண்ணிருக்காரு, அங்க இருந்து அகாமடேஷன் சர்வீஸ், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் அவர் கிளையண்ட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு மும்பை அண்ட் ஸ்டேயிங் a hotel there, we will be giving Pondicherry RC 34 ல ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகிற RC கொடுத்திருப்போம். அங்க இருக்கிற what he has to do as far as renting of immovable property services is concerned, place of supply is in the Mumbai, supplier is also in the Mumbai, Maharashtra. He has to charge only CGST and SGST of Maharashtra. But since because we are giving our RC, he is putting IGST. He is putting IGST. Whether we can avail that ITC or not. 100% we are not supposed to avail that ITC, sir. First point. Okay, ITC is not availed, but நம்ம IGST நம்ம போட்டு ITC எடுத்துறோம், சார். இப்போ என்ன பண்றது, சார்? We are supposed to reverse that ITC. We are supposed to reverse that ITC. In the difference la table 8 of GSTR 9 la varum, sir. Table 8 of GSTR 9 la in the difference la irukum. Adukku separate reconciliation statement prepare panni we are supposed to disclose that, sir. So these are all the issues as far as ITC is concerned, sir. Now we will move to the as far as reporting in tables 15, 16, 17 and 18 of GSTR 9 is concerned, it is made optional, sir. It is made optional. You need not disclose, sir. Okay. Now moving to some of the practical issues in GST, sir. I will tell you an example, sir. There is a father who is owning a registered brand name, sells branded rice for namesake, and the turnover is 15 lakhs per annum in his GST, and after levying 5% GST. His son uses the same brand name and has filed affidavit with the jurisdictional commissioner that he has forgone the actionable claim over that brand name, and thereby GST, he is charging GST at 0%. Is it correct or not, sir? Sir, my question here is, சார், ஒரு ஃபாதர் இருக்காரு, அவர் என்ன பண்றாரு, ஜேபி ரைஸ்னு வச்சிருக்காரு, சார். இதெல்லாம் ப்ராக்டிக்கல் இஷ்யூஸ். நிறைய ரைஸ் மில் அசோசியேஷன்ல தேர் அட்வைசிங் லைக் திஸ். ஃபாதர் வந்து ஜேபி ரைஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு பிராண்ட் வச்சிருக்காரு, சார். அந்த ரைஸ் வந்து ரெஜிஸ்டர்ட் பிராண்ட் நேம்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய பிராண்ட். ஸோ ஹி இஸ் செல்லிங், ஹி இஸ் சார்ஜிங் 5%, சார். ரைட்டா? ஒரு சிம்பிள் டர்ன் ஓவர் பண்ணிட்டு 5% ஜிஎஸ்டி போட்டே வாங்கிக்கிறார். ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் வச்சிருக்காரு, 5% போட்டு வாங்கிடுறாரு. இப்ப அவர் பையன்ட்ட என்ன பண்றாருன்னா, அன்ரெஜிஸ்டர்டு அன்பிராண்டடுங்கிற பேருக்காக ஜேபி ரைஸ்னு கொஞ்சம் ஒரு சின்ன ஃபாண்ட்டை மாத்தியோ இல்ல ஒரு சின்ன ஜேபில ஒரு இ சேர்த்துட்டோ இல்ல ஒரு ஃபுல் ஸ்டாப் வச்சுட்டோ வாட் he is doing, he is filing an affidavit. His son is filing, he is also a registered person. He is filing an affidavit with the department, jurisdictional commissioner affidavit file பண்ணி that he has forgone the actionable claim னா அதே பேர்ல போட்டு பண்றாரு அவரு. பட் 0% சார்ஜ் பண்றாரு by saying that நான் இந்த ஜேபி ரைஸ்ங்கிற நேமுக்கு என்னோட கமிஷனர் அஃபிடவிட் ஃபைல் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஐ எம் ஆல்சோ பிரிண்டிங் இன் ஈச் யூனிட் கண்டெய்னர் இன்டெலிஜிபிள் இங்க்ல ஐ ஹவ் ஃபர்கான் திஸ் ஆக்ஷனபிள் கிளைம் ஓவர் திஸ் பிராண்ட்னு சொல்லி போட்டு பண்ணியிருக்காரு. வெதர் இஸ் இட் கரெக்ட் ஆர் நாட் சார்? வெதர் இஸ் இட் கரெக்ட் ஆர் நாட்? பண்ணலாமா? அவர் பையன் அவங்க ஃபாதர் பண்ணக்கூடிய டர்ன் ஓவர் கட்டிக்கிறாரு, ஆனா பட் அதே பேர்ல பையன் பண்றாரு, ஆனா ஆக்ஷன் அஃபிடவிட்லாம் ஃபைல் பண்ணிட்டார். கேன் யூ டூ இட் ஆர் நாட் சார்? கேன் யூ டூ இட் ஆர் நாட் சார்? I request members to answer, sir. அடுத்து எல்லாமே issues தான் சார். அடுத்து 20 minutes இருக்கு. Just we are going to discuss the issues, practical issues. These are all the practical thing in the some association. The people are advising them to do that. The turnover amount involves somewhere around 10 crore to 20 crore or even 50 crores are there, sir. I will tell you. அப்பா அந்த ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர் வச்சுக்கிறாரு, அந்த பிராண்ட் வந்து அப்பா பேர்ல இருக்கு, ரிஜிஸ்டர்ட் பிராண்ட். பட் அதே பிராண்ட பையன் போட்டு அஃபிடவிட்ட ஃபைல் பண்ணிடுறாரு jurisdictional commissioner. I am forgoing this brand. Can he do it or not, sir? Sir, I will tell you, sir, it cannot be done. It cannot be done. The son is liable to pay GST because just because he has filed an affidavit and he printing in indelible ink in each packing container, unit container, he is not relieved from the tax liability. The reason because is எதுக்கு அவர் ரிலீவ் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னா, reason because the law என்ன சொல்லிருக்காங்க, taxable if a person is supplying rice in a registered brand name, so registered brand name need not be registered in his name. It may be registered in somebody else name. ஒருத்தர் ஜெய்ப்பூர்லயோ இல்ல ஒரு ஜார்க்கண்ட்லயோ அதே registered nameல நம்ம அவங்க பண்ணினோம்னா we are liable to pay GST. We are liable to pay GST. That is very, very, very important, sir, that we are supposed to say. So இது வந்து நிறைய பேர் அட்வைஸ் பண்ணிடுறாங்க, சார் உங்க பேர்ல தானே ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் இல்ல, அந்த ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ட்ரேட்மார்க் ஆக்ட் படி ஃபார்ம் W-ல உங்க பேர்ல தானே ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் இல்ல அப்படின்னு சொல்லிடுறாங்க. But it is in the another name. Okay, so அப்படிங்கப்ப we are, since you are supplying goods, rice in a registered brand name, though not in your name, but that brand is already registered by somebody else. If you are supplying the goods in that brand, then you are liable to pay GST irrespective of the fact that you have filed an affidavit. Very, very important, sir. As far as the rice mill எல்லாம் ரொம்ப சாதாரணமா நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு சார். அடுத்தது interest collected on sundry debtors for delayed payment of consideration, whether liable to pay GST. Similarly, whether liable to pay GST, sir. If so, at what rate, sir? What rate it is liable to pay? Sir, sundry debtors இருந்து நம்மளோட பார்ட்டி நம்ம கஸ்டமர்ஸ் இருந்து we are collecting the amount. If they are not paying, the interest is being paid, then what rate of tax we are liable to pay GST is, sir, if I am selling the registered brand rice that sell பண்றேன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க, 5% I am liable to pay GST. I am liable to pay GST 5%. I am telling my customer, boss, if you pay within 30 days, no interest. If you are paying beyond 30 days, for the outstanding amount, you are liable to pay interest at 12%. So 12% interest நான் receive பண்றேன் சார், அது ஒரு 5 lakh rupees நான் receive பண்ணிருக்கேன். அதுக்கு whether I am liable to pay GST, yes, I am liable to pay GST for that 5%. Going by the section 15 subsection 2 of the CGST Act, I am liable to pay GST. At what rate of tax? Rate of tax as applicable for my original supply of rice. So on the interest go அதே 5% நான் pay பண்ணணும் சார். ரொம்ப ரொம்ப important. Right. Next issue. Messrs. XYZ Limited buys textile apparels from Beijing, China, and sells the same directly to their customers in New York, USA for $1 lakh. Consideration is received in convertible foreign currency in India. Examine its taxability, whether this can be treated as zero rated supply as per section 16 of the IGST Act. Sir, XYZ Limited Pondicherry la irukku. Avanga Pondicherry la irukra XYZ Limited, they are buying textile apparels from the China and supplying to customer in New York. Right? So I am paying to China for buying the commodity, and I am receiving the consideration for sending the goods to the both purchases and sales are there in my profit and loss account, sir. Both purchase and sales are there in my profit and loss account. Whether for this sales, am I liable to pay $1 lakh US? Am I liable to pay GST or not? Or whether it will be treated as an export of goods? This is my query, sir. Kindly I request my members to answer this in the chat box. Sir, XYZ Limited Pondicherry la irukra or company Beijing la irundhu textile goods vaangi nera China la irundhu vaangi they are supplying to their customers in US. Idella romba pramadama nadandittu irukku sir. Chennai la many people, youngsters are doing this job through e-commerce. They are doing, whether it is liable or not, sir. What is the nature of supply, sir? What is the nature of supply? Whether it is a supply, sir. Whether it is a supply or not. Sir, yes or no kuda podunga, sir. Certificate course la members the answer panniduvanga, sir. Yes or no. So to make it interactive, I am asking, sir, whether.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir. So, sir, it is not a supply. Going by the Schedule 3, by the latest the CGST Amendment Act 2019, it is not a supply. Because what is export, sir? The goods should move out of India. First of all, the goods have never entered into India. So it is neither an import of goods nor an export of goods. So it is a non-supply going by the Schedule 3 of CGST Act. It is a non-supply. In the amount and the $1 lakh US or 75 lakh rupees on the credit side of the profit and loss account, either you have to disclose in GSTR 9 in table 5 and automatically it will get tallied in 9C. So it's a no supply transaction. It is neither considered as a supply of goods nor considered as a supply of services. It is not a supply. Now, sir, in the same transaction, what I am doing is, sir, I am in the same transaction. I have not mentioned here, sir. I am telling you the fact, sir. Sir, I am a person in Pondicherry. I have a customer in London. It is a shipping business person. He is asking cruise for his ships. Cruise கேக்குறார் sir. சிப்பந்திகள் கேக்குறாரு. அவரோட shipல work பண்றதுக்காக cruise கேக்குறாரு. So he is asking me to hire cruise from the Philippines. Philippines la na vandu cruise hire panni nera I am sending those cruise to work in the London. So I am paying to my the person from whom I have hired the cruise in Philippines. So Philippines la irukra and the manpower agent ku na pay pandren, plus I am receiving consideration from the London shipping company. How I have to deal two transaction. I am paying to the manpower agent in Philippines for hiring the crew, for hiring of crews, and I am also paying I am receiving the consideration from the my London shipping customer. So how it has to be, sir? This is concerned for payment of in US dollars. I am paying to the shipping manpower agent in Philippines. This is considered as an import of service. So by virtue of IGST Act, so I am liable to pay IGST under reverse charge mechanism. And as far as the consideration which I have received from the London shipping company for this service, manpower service is concerned, it is an export of service. I have to do it with LUT, and by applying LUT, I have to do it without payment of tax. This amount what I have paid under reverse charge IGST, I can apply it as a refund and I can get it back. So as far as goods is concerned, it is not a supply. As far as service is concerned, both the inward supply is liable to reverse charge and my outward supply will be considered as a export of service. Right, sir. Next, Messrs. Positive Outlook Limited pays commission of rupees 1 lakh US dollars to their agent in New York for facilitating the my sale there. Sir, I am a textile garment exporter. I have my customers are there in US. I have an agent there in the US. I am paying commission to him. Whether it is liable for GST or not, whether it will be considered as an import of service or not. So what is an import of service? Three conditions has to be fulfilled, sir. What are those conditions? Location of supplier. For import of service, location of supplier should be outside India. Location of recipient should be in India. Place of supply should be outside in place of supply should be in India. Only then, when all these three conditions are cumulatively fulfilled, it will be considered as an import of service. It will be considered as an import of service, and I am liable to pay. In this example, this export commission paid to the on account of export of goods is concerned. Foreign agent commission, what I have paid. Location of supplier, my agent is located in New York, USA, which is outside India. I am located in Pondicherry, so location of recipient is in India. Place of supply, where is the place of supply for this service is concerned? Going by section 13 subsection 2 of the IGST Act, this is a residuary service. So this is not a residuary service. If it is a residuary service, then the place of supply should be in the location of the recipient. Since this is not a residuary service, it is an intermediary service. Going by section 13 subsection 8 class B of the IGST Act, if it is an intermediary service, place of supply shall be the location where the intermediary is located. So this intermediary, the agent is located in USA, that is the place of supply. So since the place of supply is outside India, it is not import of service. So I need not pay GST. I need not pay GST under reverse charge. So that is important, sir. Now, Mr. Divine is conducting Ganapati Homam, Dhanvantari Homam, and other Homam. Annual revenue for that person, Mr. Divine, is 56 lakh. Whether he is liable to take registration and he is liable to pay GST. So the threshold limit for taking registration for services is 20 lakh. Since it is 56 lakh, whether this person is liable to take registration and discharge GST, sir, he is engaged in the religious event, religious activity. So any person who is engaged services by way of conducting of a religious ceremony, it is an exempted service by virtue of notification number 12/2017. So Ganapati Homam, Dhanvantari Homam, and other Homam are all exempted. It is a religious ceremony, so it is exempted from levy of GST. So you are not, he is not required to pay GST. Since the entire 56 lakhs is a purely an exempted services, going by section 23 class A, he is since engaged exclusively in exempted service. He is not required to take registration and pay GST. That is also there, sir. Next, there is an XYZ private limited company is there. They are giving a free offer to their customers, sir. Who are all the person who are buying more than 5,000 rupees, a solo box will be given at free of cost as a free gift. How it has to be treated, sir? If 5,000 rupees to மேல வாங்குறவங்க எல்லாருக்குமே ஒரு செல்லோ பாக்ஸ் ஃப்ரீயா கொடுக்குறாங்க சார். அப்ப இந்த செல்லோ பாக்ஸுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டணுமா வேண்டாமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்டீங்கன்னா, சார், கோயிங் பை தி சர்க்குலர் நம்பர் 92/11/2019 and read with schedule 1, entry number 1 of schedule 1 of CGST Act, if you are giving any commodity at a free of cost on which ITC is being availed, then though you can give it as a free consideration, it will be considered as a deemed supply and you are liable to pay GST on that free component. So as simple as such, if anything, if you are giving as a free, then it is liable. You have to structure in such a way that இதோட காஸ்ட் மேலே சேர்த்துட்டு நம்ம டிஸ்கவுண்ட் மாதிரி கொடுத்துக்கலாம். அப்படி இல்ல இது ஃப்ரீயா கொடுக்கறோம்னா don't avail ITC. The department officers are clearly taking these things, sir. Next one is versus Positive Outlook Limited donates stock at free of cost to a charitable institution to meet out their CSR obligation. Right? So the COVID period la நிறைய பேர் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க, இன்கம் இல்லாததுனால நிறைய பேருக்கு they have given their, for example, in our own case, there is a textile garment. What they gave all their t-shirt at a free of cost to their for a charitable institution to meet out the CSR obligation. அவங்க பண்ணிட்டாங்க சார். இப்ப whether they have given this at a free of cost, whether the ITC attributable to that stock, they have to reverse it, or whether it is considered as a outward supply. Sir, going by the permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC is availed. That is the entry number 1 of schedule 1 of CGST Act. It is a deemed supply. நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா கொடுத்தாலே deemed supply தான். அப்ப அந்த ஸ்டாக்ல ITC கொடுத்திருக்கோம். But in the case of பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் I will not tell that there is no consideration. Your CSR obligation are getting fulfilled. So it is a clear case of outward supply. Pay output GST. நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா கொடுத்தாலும் output GST pay பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும், because your CSR obligations are getting fulfilled. Going by section 2 subsection 31 class B of CGST Act, the consideration definition says that monetary benefit what you get on account of this is it will be considered as a consideration. So other than the value of supply sir, so you are supposed to pay GST. அதே மாதிரி calendar diaries இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் கொடுக்குறாங்க சார், ரைட்டா? அது எல்லாமே நம்ம வந்து கம்பெனிஸ்ல கொடுக்கும் பொழுது ITC-யை ரிவர்ஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க சார், தயவு செய்து எடுக்க வேண்டாம். ரைட். நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் you are selling a t-shirt to a customer per piece to Messrs. Ramaraj Textiles. You are selling t-shirts, but the Ramaraj Textile is telling that you make a good gift pack on ready பண்ணி அதை பேக் பண்ணி கொடுங்க சார்ன்றாங்க. அதுக்கு 100 rupees வாங்குறாங்கன்னா that should also be added with value of supply going by section 15 subsection 2 of the CGST Act. Right, sir. Now a charitable trust constructs a temple for worship of people and paid the freight charges for inward purchase of goods and materials for construction of the temple. Whether RCM is applicable on freight charges or not. சார், ஒரு சேரிட்டபிள் ட்ரஸ்ட் சார், அவங்க டெம்பிள் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட் பண்றாங்க சார். டெம்பிளுக்கு வந்து நிறைய மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் வந்து வாங்குறாங்க, அதுக்கு ஃப்ரைட் சார்ஜஸ் போடுறாங்க. ஆர் தே லைபிள் டு டேக் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ஆர் நாட்? ஆர் தே லைபிள் டு டேக் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ஆர் நாட்? You can also take a couple of questions in the here also, sir. And இதே last இதுல கொடுத்திருக்கேன். Hospital, there is a hospital who is exclusively engaged in a health care service, okay, which is wholly exempted and wishes to get exemption by virtue of 23(1)(a) of CGST Act. But in the current year, they have incurred a legal fees to the tune of rupees 1 lakhs to an advocate for representing the hospital before Honorable High Court. Whether registration is mandatory or not. Sir, section 23 இந்த ரெண்டு கொஸ்டினை சேர்த்து நான் டீல் பண்றேன் சார். ரெண்டுலயுமே வந்து they are both engaged exclusively in exempted service. அப்ப exempted serviceல ஒருத்தர் engage ஆயிருக்காருன்னா registration exclusively எடுத்திருக்காருன்னா they are exempted from taking registration by virtue of 23(1)(a). Okay, 23(1)(a). But section 24 படி என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா, notwithstanding anything contained in 22, but if a person is engaged in various activity, he is mandatorily required to take registration. அதுல என்னது, if a person is liable to pay GST under reverse charge, he is mandatorily required to take registration. Okay, so whether 23 is superior or 24 is superior, இதே ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு நீங்க ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுக்க சொல்லுவீங்களா எடுக்க மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லுவீங்களான்னா, conservative approach ask them to take registration, because 24 and 23 are independent. If you are applying 24, mandatorily you have to take registration, then 23 becomes redundant. If you are applying 23, 24 becomes redundant. So unless we are getting an exemption by virtue of 23(2) படி எடுக்க தேவையில்லைன்னு ஒரு நோட்டிபிகேஷன் கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கிற வரைக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி இஷ்யூஸ் எல்லாம் still it is, these are all the legal wrangles we can expect in the days to come, sir. So our considering the case by case analysis, if they are not risk aversive இருக்காங்க, ask them to take registration and pay under reverse charge for legal fees. The same will apply for the charitable trust also. That will be there, sir. But as far as their risk, they are not they are risk seeker, then we can take a risk. Okay, but it will be subject to litigation. That will also be there, sir. After the testing fees paid outside India, நிறைய companies export பண்றாங்க, they are paying testing fees for their goods. If the goods are located outside India at the time of doing the testing, then it will not be considered as an import of service because place of supply outside India, no import of service, sir. Next, as far as ITC is concerned, some questions are there, sir. Sir, Mrs. Fortune Limited has imported yarn to the tune of 5 crore rupees, and the IGST on imports paid was 90 lakhs during the financial year 2021. ITC was not availed in GSTR 3B. Whether Mrs. Fortune Limited can avail ITC in December 21. Any time bar is there, bar in time limit is there as far as by virtue of 16.4. Sir, import பண்ணிருக்காரு sir 5 crore rupees க்கு 90 lakh rupees IGST pay பண்ணிருக்காரு. ITC எடுக்க விட்டுட்டார் 2021 December 21 ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணார். Whether he can avail ITC or not, sir. Whether he can avail ITC or not, sir. Whether such availment of ITC is barred in by virtue of 16.4, sir. I request members to answer at least these questions, sir, please. For in one company, since 17, we have done this exercise and we have saved 2.5 crores, sir. 1st July 2017 31st March 21 வரைக்கும் பண்ணக்கூடிய imports எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்து to what extent they have availed ITC for import of goods identify பண்ணி balance amount now we have availed, it comes to 2.5 crores. Reason because sir, time limit in 16.4 is provided only for the availment of ITC through an invoice. But when you are availing ITC in case of import through a bill of entry, for bill of entry 16.4 is not governed, so there is no time limit is there. There is no time limit is there. So for availing import of IGST paid on import of goods, there is no time limit. There is no time limit. Even now you can avail it, sir. So that also you can, at the time of doing the health check audit or preparing 99C, if anything is there, now you can avail in case of bill of entry is there, that you can avail it, sir. Adhe mari, there is a overseas client is there. We have paid for import of software services, we have paid 2 crore rupees in 2021. They have not paid reverse charge. Reverse charge la import of services in the 2 crore liability 18% pay panala, sir. Whether now we can pay, now you are doing 999C, now you can pay and avail ITC, sir. This is my question, sir. 2021 ஒரு software company நீங்க பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கீங்க, அவங்க import of services 2 crore பண்ணிருக்காங்க. They have not paid GST under reverse charge. But now at the time of preparing 999C, you have identified this. Whether you are liable to pay, you are liable to pay, no issue. You have to pay 18% on 2 crore, 36 lakhs you have to pay, and you have to whether you can avail ITC or not. That is not my question. You have to pay now along with interest. Whether you can avail ITC or not, in our considered view, you can avail ITC. We read going by the provisions given in section 31 subsection 3 class F, read with rule 36, you can avail ITC because, sir, availment of ITC in case of reverse charge liability arises only on payment of tax. So now only you are paying tax, you can avail. But time limit provided in 16.4 says that invoice date. Sir, as far as this service is concerned, since you are importing a service, that person will be an unregistered person. If you are importing a service from an unregistered person, then you have to produce a self-generative invoice. You have to generate a self-generate invoice. That invoice date you can put it today. And since the invoice date is today, and now only you are paid, very well you can avail ITC. But if you are receiving any services from a registered person, for which you are liable to pay under reverse charge, for that you cannot avail. For example, you are getting transportation of goods service from a GTA services from VRL Logistics. They are registered person. They have issued an invoice by putting reverse charge, yes. But you are not discharged GST at that point of time. You are identifying now only, and you are paying GST now only. Can you avail? You cannot avail because the invoice is already generated by your supplier. But in the given case, the person is a foreign supplier, you can generate an invoice now and you can avail ITC. And the next is a very, very practical question, sir. We have handled personally. Sir, in many cases, cross charge have not been done. For example, a head office is situated in Tamil Nadu and they are having factory in Kerala and Karnataka. So the common expenses in Tamil Nadu, they are now supposed to cross charge to Kerala and Karnataka by virtue of section entry number 1 of schedule 1 of the CGST Act. It is a deemed supply. They are supposed to generate. So how to do it? That is very, very important, sir. Now they have not done it. So the head office Tamil Nadu is asking a question, sir. For the past 4 years, 4 வருஷத்துக்கு சேர்த்து இப்ப நான் கிராஸ் சார்ஜ் பண்றேன் சார். இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் கட்டிடுறேன். டைம் ஆஃப் சப்ளை படி நான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் பே பண்ணிடுறேன். No issue at all. But whether my recipient who Kerala and Karnataka can take ITC. I'm not joking, sir. The amount came to cross charge மட்டுமே 20 crores இருந்துச்சு. 18% பாத்தீங்கன்னா 3.6 crores இருந்துச்சு. இந்த 4 yearsக்கு 4 yearsக்கும் சேர்த்து current yearல தான் Tamil Nadu, the head office is issuing a cross charge invoice to other their distinct person located in Kerala and Karnataka RCக்கு cross charge பண்றாங்க. ITC GST component மட்டும் 3.6 crores. இப்ப 3.6 crores க்கு interest pay பண்ணிட்டாங்க, no issue. Whether the recipient can avail ITC, sir, the law is very, very clear. When you are generating an outward supply invoice, the current date only you are generating an outward supply invoice. So the current date la dhaan outward supply invoice generate pandrom. So as far as Tamil Nadu RC is concerned, time of supply have completed in the respective financial year 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 2021. But just now you are raising an invoice, you are liable to pay interest by virtue of section 50 subsection 1. But invoice date you can put it today. Okay. And the recipient is also concerned. The ITC, they can very well avail it. In the period of the service in a recipient hands important கிடையாது. Recipient handle document date, invoice date தான் important. So very well they can avail ITC. That is also there, sir. Right. அடுத்தது வந்து நான் வந்து 50 lakh rupees க்கு goods purchase பண்ணிருக்கேன் சார். IGST க்கு 9 lakh rupees GST இருக்குது. Okay, 50% I am required to pay within 30 days. Balance 50% 240 days க்கு அப்புறம் pay பண்ணலாம்னு இருக்கு. Whether I am liable to pay reverse the ITC. Sir, நான் 50 lakh rupees goods வாங்குனேன். 9 lakh rupees is the IGST amount. I have availed ITC. But agreement படி 50 lakhல 50% amount 30 days குள்ள pay பண்ணிரணும். Balance 50% amount 240 days எனக்கு இருக்கு டைம். Whether அப்ப நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன் 180 days வரைக்கும் 50 lakhக்கு 50% pay பண்ணிட்டேன். 25 lakh and 4.5 lakh 29.5 lakhs pay பண்ணிட்டேன். Balance 29.5 lakhs க்கு I have another 60 days. 180 days க்கு அப்புறமா 60 days இருக்கு. 240 days இருக்கு. அப்ப நான் whether ITC reverse பண்ணணுமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா not required. When we read carefully second proviso to section 16(2) read with rule 37, when you are failed to pay the consideration, then only you are supposed to reverse. Here the failure is not occurring because the contract date itself, the payment terms itself telling that it is 240 days. So in the மாதிரி para பின்னாடி department issue பண்ணாங்கன்னா to save from the liability, we can structure the transaction that the 180 days issue வந்து இப்படி handle பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார். But it is though we are in the closed corner, I am telling this a suggestion, we can do it, sir. Next one is all this is this is with some 2 issues I will be closing, sir. One is, sir, there is a company was there. They really constructed a road, sir. Okay, construction within the factory they have constructed a road and they have accounted that amount in the repairs and maintenance in building சொல்லி போட்டு அக்கவுண்ட் பண்ணி ITC avail பண்ணிருந்தாங்க. Whether they can do it or not. நான் திரும்ப சொல்றேன் சார், factory premises குள்ள road construct பண்ணிருக்காங்க. They have constructed a road and the construction of road financials la P&L la debit side la repairs and maintenance disclose பண்றாங்க. Whether the ITC is available or not, sir, when we read going by section 17(5)(c) and D explanation la பார்த்தோம்னா we can say that நம்ம எல்லாரும் நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம் repairsனாலே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நம்ம ITC எடுத்துக்கலாம். Yes, but when we carefully read the wordings used in the explanation to 17(5)(c) is construction includes reconstruction, renovation, addition, alteration or repairs to the extent of capitalization. So to the extent capitalized, it will be treated as a construction. அதாவது நீங்க ரிப்பேர் பண்றது, ரெனோவேட் பண்றத நீங்க கேபிட்டலைஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா ITC எடுக்க முடியாது. ஏன்னா அது கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் ஆயிடும். But ஒரு construction activity per se, it is a construction activity. Sir, construction of a road ங்கிறதே it's a construction activity. Just because அதை வந்து நீங்க ரிப்பேர்னு சொல்லி ரெவென்யூ ட்ரீட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா ஐடிசி எடுக்க முடியுமானா கிடையாது. You cannot avail ITC. Many people are doing this problem. This is a very big litigation we are inviting from the department in the days to come. Very, very important, sir. அடுத்தது ஒரு ஹெல்த் கேர் கம்பெனி இருக்காங்க சார். They are located, for example, ஒரு ஹெல்த் கேர் கம்பெனி, I don't want to name the hospital. They are located in different state. இப்போ ஒரு ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்து ஹெல்த் கேர் சர்வீஸ் 100% exempted. பட் ஒரு ஸ்டேட்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய இருந்து என்ன பண்றாங்க, ஒரு ஸ்கேன் எக்யூப்மெண்ட், சிடி ஸ்கேன் எக்யூப்மெண்ட், இப்ப ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் சென்னையில இருந்து பாண்டிச்சேரி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல், அவங்களோட பிரான்ச்சே பாண்டிச்சேரியில இருக்கு, சென்னையில இருக்கு. இப்ப சென்னையில இருந்து ஒரு சிடி எக்யூப்மெண்ட், சிடி ஸ்கேன் எக்யூப்மெண்ட் பாண்டிச்சேரிக்கு டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்றாங்கன்னா then it is liable for GST for that particular transaction, because supply of goods between the distinct entity even without consideration is liable for GST. So அதனால இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் பண்ண நம்ம ஹெல்த் கேர் செக்டர் பண்றோம்னா இந்த மாதிரி கேபிட்டல் குட்ஸ் எல்லாம் மூவ் பண்ண சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா இங்க இருந்து ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டிட்டாங்க, நாங்க ஐடிசி எடுக்க முடியாது, அப்ப திரும்ப இங்க இருந்து பண்ணணும். So all these things, it is a very, very difficult, sir. ITC on two-wheeler, it is allowed, sir. Sir, two-wheeler also you cannot avail ITC because it is a motor vehicle by virtue of section 2 subsection 28 of the Motor Vehicle Act. So inga motor vehicle ங்கிறது என்ன சொல்றாங்க, 13 seating capacity 13 or less than 13 இருக்கக்கூடிய எந்த ஒரு motor vehicle-க்கு ITC எடுக்க முடியாது. So two-wheeler is also considered as a motor vehicle by virtue of Motor Vehicle Act, you cannot avail. But electric two-wheeler 25 cc க்கு கீழ இருக்கறனால ITC we can very well we can avail, sir. So considering the paucity of the time, I'm not continuing with the other issues, sir. Thanks for the patient hearing by the members. Any questions, we can open for the questions, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful presentation. You have covered 9C and also the case studies, sir. All those case studies are pick of the cases. Thank you, sir. Now I request the members to unmute yourself and post your queries if any.
Sir, so questions answer பண்ணிடுவா சார், யாரா கேக்குறாங்க கேட்க.
Hello, Bala sir.
Yeah, please, sir. Rajasekhran, sir, please.
How are you?
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, one dealer received from the supplier
Received, sir.
gold coin as incentive for achieving a particular turnover.
Okay, okay. Gold coin he has received.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Whether he is
okay.
liable to pay GST on the same.
Gold coin he is received for right, sir.
For achieving a particular turnover.
Okay, okay, I understand. What our chairman sir asked in the earlier session, that volume discount, instead of receiving the consideration in the form of credit note, now
Yes,
he
sir.
is receiving the gold coin. Sir,
Yes.
for that particular transfer, for receipt of gold coin, he is not liable to pay GST, sir. But this gold coin will be, again, he will be selling to somebody else.
Yes.
At that time, he is liable to pay GST.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And going by the circular number 92/11/2019, secondary discount handle பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார். Secondary discount பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் recipient handle it is not taxable because the supplier is not able to fulfill the conditions given in 15(3)(b). So he is giving in the financial credit note மாதிரி கொடுக்குறாரு, volume discounts எல்லாம். இப்போ உங்க கேஸ்ல he is giving in the form of coin.
Yes.
So gold coin receipt-க்கு நீங்க GST pay பண்ண வேணாம் at the time of receipt. But when you are selling this, at that time you are liable, sir.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, and the next is sir has asked one question, sir. If ITC 1920 reversed in 2021, is there a column to disclose the in the same in GST 9? Sir, இது வந்து 1920 ஓட GSTR 9ல டேபிள் 12ல we should have disclosed this, sir. இப்ப டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் பண்ண விட்டுருந்தோம்னா இப்ப டேபிள் 12 of 9C-ல ரெகன்சிலியேஷன்ல டிஃபரன்ஸா வந்து டேபிள் 13ல இதுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன் கொடுத்தா போதும், சார்.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, sir?
Yes, sir. I don't think there are other questions, sir. Okay, sir. Now it is over to C.A. Rajshekharan, sir, Vellore branch chairman, for a formal vote of thanks. Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all respected speakers, CA G. Saravana Kumar and CA J. Balasubramanian, Chairman of Pondicherry Branch, CA V. Prabhakaran, sir, Management Committee members of all our professional fraternities. As a Chairman of Vellore Branch, I am very much proud to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. At the outset, I would like to thank our speakers for their exceptional presentations and they excellently enlightened us about the issues in the GST with respect to aspects covered in the tax audit and issues in the forms GSTR 9 and 9C and all other practical issues. I am very much grateful to the Chairman of Pondicherry Branch, CAV Prabhakaran, and his team for organizing this need of the hour seminar at this juncture. I also wish to thank all our participants for participating in very large numbers and also thank them for their patient and unwavering attention and active participation. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Speaker, sir. I thank the Vellore branch for extending the support in organizing this program. Thank you, one and all. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.